Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, gotta fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Welcome. It is I, it is he. This is Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. Of course, I am here with Righteous Reg. How are you this morning?
Is your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster? They can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yes. I thought my StreamYard was going to be playing with me and play the song 5 times, but it did not. I am here. It is Grapsody. It is Saturday. What's good with y'all? What's good with you, Phil?
It's good. I went out yesterday with a winter coat on and like a sweatshirt, and I had to come back in and change everything because it was like 70 degrees. So yeah, Midwest weather. I'm sure it's going to be back to being cold in a few days, but yeah, it is what it is.
Global warming is happening. I got in my car yesterday and it said 80 degrees, and I was like, whoa, this is not... it's too hot. Immediately things are happening way too fast. I just don't be knowing what's going on here, and I don't like it, but it is about springtime, so it's nice outside. Oakland weather. I went out for First Friday yesterday. There was a lot of people out having a good time, so I'm not mad at it. It's good to see people, community, and people coming together for even something as simple as First Friday with these crazy ass times happening right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Daylight savings time is upon us.
Oh yeah. It's light out.
Happening soon. Yeah, but got a lot to get into. Got some WWE stuff to get into. An eventful 3 hours of SmackDown last night. Still not used to this 3 hours thing, but got other stuff to get into. New Japan Cup started. Gato is still being Gato. No, man.
Something is going on over in New Japan. We're going to get into multiple angles of what's in and out of New Japan. A lot of SmackDown talk, a lot of SmackDown people who worked at SmackDown talk going on this week. Philip Lindsey, your boy, the dog. It was time for the dog, Phil. I didn't know it was going to be time for the dog.
Big week for the dogs, man.
Big week for the dogs.
I don't think it's the year of the dog in the Chinese zodiac, but big week for the dogs. Yeah, Brian James is no longer with SmackDown.
Did it feel like it?
Yeah, still not sure what that means. I don't know if there's been clarification of if he stepped down or if he got fired yet. But yeah, I was very confused when he did get the job because I was like, we're going with Brian in 2025, 2026. I think we need some new blood back there. But funny enough, SmackDown has been the better show recently. SmackDown at least feels like a wrestling show. I think that has a lot to do with stuff like the Open Challenge. Carmelo Hayes has been killing it. Just wrestled El Hijo del Wagner Jr. last night. Fire match. He's been having great Open challenges. Obafemi seems like he's kind of settled in on SmackDown as well. So, there's stuff to like about SmackDown. Not exactly a high bar because SmackDown isn't a great show, but it's better than Raw is.
I mean, if you compare it to its own inner competition, yeah, most people are saying that SmackDown is the wrestling show. And that has me super curious off this Brian James stuff is to were the big brass watching up top being like, this is too much wrestling. We need this to be more like Raw. And if that's the idea, then that's very scary stuff, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. It also came off the backs of this weird internet build they tried to do for uh, Jade and Rhea this week. Still not quite sure what happened there. I've seen a lot of people say that that was a work. There were things about it that did not seem like a work. Now, of course, as Dave Meltzer pointed out, they don't let the wrestlers just get on social media and work an angle unless it's already talked about. And so I can assume that it was supposed to start as, hey, tweet some things, get people interested in the feud. But where it went definitely did not feel like a work.
Immediately took a big left and then a big right turn and then a big circle back. See, that's the thing with Jade, Phil. Like, if she's gonna get in the mud, she's gonna get into the mud just because that's kind of her nature. And probably her getting into the mud is different than everybody else is getting to the mud, as we've seen, as we saw this week. Because it's like she's probably just like, haha, yeah, just shooting from the hip, and they're like, nah, let's fight. And it's like, I don't know if that's the heat they for this. I mean, heat is heat, but this is a little too far, I think.
It got a little strange. Jade said, that's all you do is talk. You spend hours talking to creative. And for some reason, that set Rhea off. And then that led to some other stuff. Chelsea tweeted something that seemingly had nothing to do with the Jade and Rhea storyline. But Jade responded to Chelsea. And then that led to Piper Niven's jumping in. And it looked like they was jumping her at one point. It looked like they was trying to jump Jade on social media. Yeah, there have been rumors about Jade for a while, so this isn't exactly shocking.
Right.
But it just kind of felt like I said, they tried to start getting interest in the storyline, and then it went somewhere else. Stan accounts, of course, what they always do, pick sides, and people are just like, well, why are you guys being racist towards Jade and trying to make it a race thing? And I don't know where that came from. That was really strange. For some reason, Sean got dragged into it because Sean retweeted like what Piper and Chelsea were saying, and people were trying to then turn Sean into be racist because he just retweeted the tweets. It was all very bizarre, and as I keep telling you guys all the time, you don't have to take sides. It's just wrestling. Like, it's just, even if they do have a personal thing with Jade, what does that have to do with you? Why are you making it personal? Like, I don't really get that part of it. And, people are trying to make it seem like, oh, Jade's being bullied. And it's just like, let's calm down, guys. We don't know everything that's happening here. Let's calm down. It was a lot of, there's a lot of jumping off the cliff with this. I was just like, I don't know what you guys are doing. I don't know why you guys are getting this upset about this, but we got a very safe promo out of this on SmackDown last night. I was wondering how you
not the same energy, huh?
Yeah, I was wondering how you were going to get into this build after this Twitter back and forth, and it turns out we got a very safe promo. They were like, we are not getting another Tiffany Charlotte fiasco out of this. You're getting a cookie cutter babyface heel promo, and I thought it was fine for what it was, but. Yeah, very curious to see what this match is going to look like.
Yeah, this thing took a turn for the worse. When I got on, they were everybody was at Sean for that and another reason, and I was like, "Wait, what's happening?" I didn't know what was going on. There was so many things I needed to catch up on, and then when I started to get into the Jade and Rhea stuff, and then I was like, okay, there's a lot here, and then people started taking sides too much, Phil, and attacking each other, and race was involved, and I was like, oh yeah, I think I'm over here with this, because like when it's wrestling, Phil, no matter how personal it feels to you, and we don't know anything, like people are like, these people, this could all be a work, you guys. Like, they could have all worked this out. Like, even if it feels like we're going too far, they could be texting each other being like, I'm about to say this about you on Twitter. Like, we just can't get into being like, this is why everybody hates her. This is why blah, blah, blah. This is why the Rhea getting triggered by the creative thing was super interesting too. Because, I mean, I guess if you go online and everybody's calling you Hogan and how they do with people in WWE, specifically the women in WWE, if they have any accolades. I'm sure it's annoying to get on and people are, and she's saying something like that, and she's the champ, and Rhea probably feels like she deserves more, I'm sure, being a big star, and she's not getting that. But you're saying I'm talking to creative. If I was talking to creative, I would not be champion. Like, I'm just sure she went through all these things of emotions, but it's just like too deep in the weeds. I mean, you did need to garner some interest on what this was, because people kind of had a different idea of what the match was going to be. So I understand kind of trying to add some heat to it, but they got too much, I think.
Yeah, it got strange with people turning it into people thought people were picking on Jade, and then people turned it into a sympathy thing for Rhea. Like, Rhea put this IG post up, this cryptic IG post up after that, and I was just like, what's going on?
And then people are like, this is why you can't talk. This is why the mental health and stuff. I'm like, all right, like you guys, we got to reel it back a bit. Yeah. Like, everybody on both sides is trying to add to this, and it's maybe not as deep as people are making it. You know, that's pretty early, Phil.
Yeah. But I thought the promo last night was fine for what it was. I think if you were going into it like, oh, we got action, we got all this Twitter stuff from last night, didn't quite play out like you guys expected.
And that's not really what Rhea's TV character is. She's not like in the, like, let's go back and forth, let's gossip, let's blah blah blah. She's about action. She's about being who she is, and like, I don't know why people would expect that. I'm sure they did though.
Yeah. It definitely felt like to me, oh no. We went through this last year heading into Mania. We're not doing this again. Fun.
It
led to some fun TV, but we're not doing that again. On the subject of Rhea Ripley, Rhea, of course, was successful at Elimination Chamber this weekend. Just as our way of getting into WWE Elimination Chamber in the city of Chicago. I believe was WWE's first live event at the United Center in 32 years. Every time I see that stat, it's just wild to me. Last time they were there was for SummerSlam in 1994. I think like for the buzz around it and some of the conversations about what this needed to be, it was a pretty good crowd. I didn't know what to expect because we kept hearing things like it wasn't sold out yet, and some of the stuff about like the new blackout rules around the venue and how the tickets would sell. And the crowd was pretty good. Of course, we got a obligatory attendance number at one point in the night. But I thought for the most part, the crowd sounded good. They sounded invested in the show. And it looked good on TV. I don't know. I wasn't in the building.
Yeah, every time we have WrestleTix discourse, Phil, going into the show, I'm like, WWE, the way that they work now is like, they're going to sell this out. And Chicago's a wrestling town. They're a walk-up wrestling town. Like, Chicago's like, there's a wrestling show today. I'm not doing anything. I'll pull up, or like, I'll see what's happening on the day and I'll pull up. And you know that they're going to show up and they're going to be excited about it. It felt like anytime people are doom and gloom, I'm like, it's not really at that point. Like, you have a concept like the Elimination Chamber. You got Chicago's own CM Punk having a big title match. Chicago's going to show up.
Yeah, absolutely. It seemed like there were quite a few people that bought tickets last minute. That was kind of talked about the day of. But, you're going to have stuff like that for WWE events, like walk-up ticket buyer. But, yeah, start the show with the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Rhea Ripley took on Tiffany Stratton, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Kiana James, and Raquel Rodriguez. I thought that the Women's Elimination Chamber match was the better of the two chamber matches. I thought it did what it needed to do for both Kiana James and Raquel Rodriguez. Kiana James has had a pretty impressive year, both her showing in a Royal Rumble match and winning a qualifying match, and then coming into this match. But Raquel Rodriguez was surprisingly the highlight of this match. I did not expect that coming in. She looked strong throughout this thing. She had several big highlights, big eliminations here. A spot where she rammed Kiana through the pod and back around looked really good. So much so when she got eliminated, the crowd was booing. They did not want her to lose. A lot of this crowd wanted Raquel to win.
Yeah, this is everybody keeps bringing up the Kevin Nash thing, but like legit, it worked when Kevin Nash was like, "Oh, you need to change and you need to start working like this." Raquel has been working like in this match. It was so specific of her being like, "I'm the biggest one in here. I'm walking around like I'm the biggest one in here. I'm walking around like I'm the baddest one in here." And just the way she was working, I thought was super strong in this, and getting a crowd, Chicago, to rally behind you is very impossible task for some, and for her to do that, I thought was so super dope. Kiana James, they kind of gave her the ball in some points. I thought was awesome too, because considering who she's in the ring with, like letting her kind of find her way and be in the ring at moments where it's just her and another person, I thought was very strong. I think that's helping her in the future and establishing who she is as a character. It was super weird what they were doing with her for a while. It's like, no, this woman can work if they give her the opportunity. And I thought she really showed that. There was some crazy ass spots like the one you brought up with that Rhea flipping off of the top of the pod onto Raquel, and then I was just like, okay, this is bodies on top of bodies. The women's match felt more. It's been like this with WWE matches when they have women's and men's matches in the same night of the same kind of gimmick. It feels more innovative. They feels like they're coming up with different things and not just rehashing spots. And that's what the women's elimination chamber match felt like.
Yeah, started with Kiana James versus Tiffany Stratton. Then I think Asuka was in next. Asuka entered the fray, and Kiana tried to rush her in her pod and attack her before she could get out. And it was kind of like, wait a minute. It was like one of those wait a minute moments. Like, do you know who I am? And like once Asuka like actually started getting her offense in and started banging her against the pod, it was like, well, hold on. Cat got out of his cage. People got a bit excited here, but like I said, the match completely changed when Raquel Rodriguez came in last. I think it was the order was Asuka, then Alexa Bliss, then Rhea, then Raquel. Of course, came in last. Raquel racked up 2 eliminations. Didn't love how they used Asuka in this match, but Raquel eliminated both Kiana James and Asuka.
Stack them up.
Yeah, like I said, wasn't thrilled with the way she was used here, but what can you say? Tiffany Stratton ended up eliminating Raquel Rodriguez, and very ironic that Tiffany Stratton was in the same position when Elimination Chamber took place in Perth, where when she got eliminated, the crowd booed because they wanted her to win. But this time, when she eliminated Raquel, the crowd booed because they did not want Raquel out of this match. They wanted her to win. And very understandably so, because like I said, I thought that Raquel was the highlight of this match. When it got down to Tiffany and Rhea Ripley, Tiffany was getting bounced off the pod. She took some nasty looking bumps. There were certain points where she was trying to like go for like her big moonsault spots, and she was getting like pulled off of the turnbuckle and slammed against the chamber walls and stuff. I was like, God, she is in there getting bruised and battered up. By then, she was bloodied a little bit, bruised. I was like, bro, she is taking a beating in there.
Yeah, that one where she's about to hit the moonsault and Rhea just pushes her forward into the pod and she just crashes into it. It's like, oh, okay, I see what's happening here with Tiffany. It's so interesting the difference in like last year's Elimination Chamber of the year before and where Tiffany is, because like the previous years it would have been way different. People would have been way up for her, but now she's like adjusting to being who she is in a kind of a different heel type of character. Rhea's still who she is, and she was just on some destruction shit. I like just her being like, I'm still Rhea Ripley, and I will tear through whoever I need to win this match, and that's what she did.
Yeah. Of course, Rhea Ripley picked up the win here. She's going on to WrestleMania to face Jade Cargill. Like I said, I thought that this was a strong match. Like I said, I didn't love the way Asuka was used in this match. I'm also not really thrilled with what they're doing with EO so far, because Io coming out of last year, I felt was WWE's MVP, and now she's
Definitely.
just kind of like Rhea's buddy on Raw. Like they did the tag match, and they dropped the tag belts to Nia and Lash Legend, and then it was kind of like, well, I'm going off to SmackDown to challenge Jade. See you later, Io. And Io's like, I support you fully. And it's like, okay, but what is Io doing though?
Yeah, super interesting because like legit everybody that was everybody's MVP for WWE, man or woman, last year was Io. Everybody was saying that was their match of the year. Everybody was coming out of that year being like, it's up for Io. She should be having an amazing run coming into 2026. And it just hasn't been that. The focus has been in other places. And when you got a tremendous talent like this, I'm putting her in another one-on-one WrestleMania main event. If it's me, Phil, just because I've seen what she's done the last couple years, the triple threat match, the match with Bayley was fucking fire. Like she just has so many classics at this point. How would you not super utilize her again?
Yeah, I've seen people throw around that she could go on to challenge Julia or something, which I feel like that feels like a step back. She was just world champion. Like I said, you're giving Rhea a spot now where she's challenging for the world title. The whole storyline is Rhea has never beat Io, so why would you have Io regress back and challenge for the U.S. title? There's also the Asuka match. You could finally do the Asuka one-on-one match. I'm not sure if I believe they do that at WrestleMania. I think it was WrestleVotes that was saying they have about 5 women's matches penciled in that they could use for WrestleMania weekend. If that's true, great. I'm not sure if I believe that, but we'll see.
5 WrestleMania matches. So I mean, the spread across 2 nights, that's nothing. But that just is like hearing that when reading that report, I was like, ooh, history does not show that. Like 3 is max. Like getting 5 is like being generous. But like there's 5 stories that have been told. And like, I mean, the Io and Asuka match is one that could be featured in that. So I would not be mad at it. And if you want to totally kind of do something different, I think featuring a lot of women's matches WrestleMania weekend is a huge change.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 5 potential matches you can do between like the 2 women's title matches. You could get a women's tag title match on there, possibly Io versus Asuka. That's 4 right there. You can
Julia match.
5. Yeah, you can fill out 5 matches on this card if you want it, but you know we're still doing these 5 match cards, so I'm not sure.
We'll get into it with the men's stuff, but the report coming out that they gave Cody, they took the belt off Cody so he would be on the shows. I was like, wait, I don't even understand what this report's saying. You took the world championships off the guy so he would be on the shows. Why don't you just put him on the show as the world champion? What do I know?
So he can be in the big stipulation matches. So he can be both in Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber. And there's an easy way to fix that by having him defend his title at Royal Rumble or make the Elimination Chamber match a championship match.
Huh.
What a novel idea. Which is going to come into play again later tonight. But also in the potential matches we were saying for WrestleMania, you could also throw in AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch or AJ Lee versus another opponent for the IC Championship. AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch was up next. I thought that this was pretty good for expectations coming out of this build. This build was not great. I wasn't really worried about the match itself because Becky has had good matches with other legends, and AJ Lee has looked pretty good in the matches since she's been back. My concern last week was if you're going to stretch this storyline out to WrestleMania, how do you do that? And my concern ended up being the stuff that I liked the least about this match. Because when it was just straightforward wrestling, I thought it was pretty good. I thought that AJ still looks good. She still looks about as you expect in the ring. Becky is still Becky. And I think all of the the transitions and the technical wrestling we got in this match was strong. But yeah, this turnbuckle stuff they did towards the end, wasn't a big fan of it.
This shows why Becky is Becky though. Like if given the opportunity with anybody, she can turn a good match. She can make the crowd do exactly what they were going to do, be against her, be on the baby face's side, get the baby faces. Like, she made AJ look great in this. But like you said, if they're going to stretch this, they have to. This couldn't be a straightforward 1, 2, 3 match. It has to be some shenanigans to lead to another match. And there were some shenanigans in here. I mean, Becky Lynch is kind of going 100% on the shenanigans gimmick, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Like I said, the wrestling itself, I enjoyed that.
Strong.
I thought it was what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
We get to the point where the pad gets ripped off of the turnbuckle, and we get a obligatory ref bump and all the rest of the stuff. At one point, Jessica Carr is coming in there, and she's like trying to take the string and put the turnbuckle back on the turnbuckle pad back on the turnbuckle, and I'm just like, I think you could just leave it. I
Just
think
leave
it's
it.
fine. I think you could just leave it off. Becky tries to throw AJ into it and use it to cheat. Jessica Carr stops her, and she's just like not letting that happen. That plays into all of the stuff between Jessica Carr and Becky Lynch, because Becky's like, "You're in cahoots. You're in it with them. You're all screwing me. This isn't fair." And so she ends up hitting the turnbuckle herself on accident. Jessica Carr sees it, does nothing about it. AJ Lee uses that to her advantage, picks up the win. AJ Lee is the new women's intercontinental champion. All this shenanigan stuff towards the end of the match was just kind of silly. Because I get the point you're trying to make that Jessica Carr didn't technically do anything wrong because Becky hit the turnbuckle on accident. But she made a point to not allow Becky to use the turnbuckle. But then when it's used against Becky, she just immediately acted like she didn't see it and counted anyway. I mean, that's going to play into Becky's claim, I'm sure, for the next few weeks that she was screwed. She's owed a rematch. Yeah, I could have done without all of that stuff. There was no way that AJ Lee was not going to win here in her adopted hometown of Chicago, Illinois. That was very funny multiple times when she came out, and I was just like, yeah, I think AJ Lee is from New Jersey, guys. But I understand what you're doing. There was no way she was losing. But the way we got there, I don't think we needed that. AJ came out on Monday and is doing the "I'm a fighting champion" gimmick. There's so many people back there I would like to have matches with now, and now that I have this opens the door for that, and that's what I've been waiting for them to do with AJ Lee. Just do some new matchups, do something different with her. And I assume they're going to try to make it seem like they're going to do that for the next few weeks. But there's no way I believe that the Mania match isn't still Becky versus AJ.
Yeah, they're gonna have to run it back. That's exactly what it is. But yeah, there's a world where all these women are inspired legit by AJ Lee and want to have matches with her, and part of them are here because of the contributions that she made. So we need to get a couple of those matches. It can't just all be Becky Lynch stuff. Like, it makes sense that it is Becky Lynch stuff. There was a moment in the match where it's like, well, in what world should AJ Lee beat Becky Lynch, this monster of a person? But you add in these kind of shenanigans, you break this stuff in, and it makes sense. But yeah, AJ should at least tease the potential of next opponents, tease the potential of future feuds, because I think that a lot of people are excited about that. I hope there's a few title defenses going into, one or two at least, going into WrestleMania, so it just isn't like she's using this belt to transition right back to Becky, because I don't know how much sense that would make. But I do like Becky being involved in a Mania match. She should be in some capacity.
Yeah, there's already a bunch of options. I mean, you've already got the option for Bayley versus AJ Lee for the IC title. You've got
betcha.
Roxanne. You've got so many great matchups for her on Raw. So many people that were clearly inspired by her that you can have the matches with on Raw. So hopefully they get some of those in before WrestleMania, before Becky just comes back and starts screaming at us that she was screwed at Elimination Chamber. At one point as well, Becky accidentally kicks Jessica Carr, and she looks down at her, knocked on the ground, and she's just like, well, whatever. And that was funny, but again, it just played into all of this stuff with her and Jessica Carr that I don't know that we needed it, guys. I think it could have been just a straightforward match. And maybe this is just to get us to the straightforward match at WrestleMania, and that match is going to be better. Hopefully that's the case. I'm kind of confused by the decision to do it twice and not just do the match at WrestleMania if this was always the plan.
Yeah.
But what do I know? I'm sure part of it is to give AJ Lee a title win here in Chicago before WrestleMania, but I think you could have just gave her the big win at WrestleMania and it would have been fine.
Yeah, when they had the little walk-ups before Elimination Chamber and they were like the hometown couple of Punk and AJ, I was like, oh no, I see exactly what's the play here. I see exactly how they're kind of laying this out. So her winning this match makes a lot of sense. I remember being right before AJ Lee left, there was a show in San Jose and her and Bailey teamed up, and it was always just like, this match, you guys, like we got to get to it. So we got to get to AJ Lee and Bailey at least once, you guys. Get it to us.
Yes, that's an exciting prospect. They're doing a lot of open challenges right now, but that's still an exciting prospect. AJ Lee versus Roxanne or Bailey or Io Sky or a bunch of other women. There's a plethora of women
Rhea
for her to wrestle and on Raw. So
Rhea just left the SmackDown.
yeah, I mean, well, Rhea is in a world title picture now. I don't know if she would be like, hey, I want the IC title too, but crazier things have happened, so wouldn't be surprised. Up next, we have Finn Balor versus CM Punk for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Coming off of their strong match earlier this year on Raw, I didn't know what to expect from this. I thought that they could, reach that same level again. But the problem here is this match had absolutely no heat. Nobody believed that Finn Balor was going to win this match. And I think that it kind of harmed the build. And then it actually also harmed the reception to it from the audience because the crowd was into it. The crowd was into Punk. But the entire time, nobody believed that Finn Balor was going to win this match. So a lot of the stuff that he was doing that probably would have gotten better reactions any other time didn't really work here. But I thought this match did what it was supposed to do. For story purposes, it made Punk feel like a big star, as we knew it was supposed to do. This is Chicago, Illinois. Buddy, him standing in the back. We got the Alan Parsons Project, Sirius playing. Fame, Chicago Bulls announcer Ray Clay did his ring announcement. They pulled down the banners for him with the World Heavyweight Championship in the United Center, and I was just like, this is for me. This is for me. I was the entire time I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. As somebody that's lived in this city, massive Bulls fan, iconic arena, just like multiple memories of sitting home watching the Bulls get ready to go out there and getting this entrance and winning a championship. It just felt big. It made Punk feel like a big massive star, a big hometown hero. And then, of course, he comes out, cult of personality. He's got the Blackhawks gear on, which looked fire. Yeah, I saw a lot of people trying to slander and talk crazy, and I was like, nah, stay out of Chicago business.
I mean, not being in the United Center specifically, Phil, for 32 years, and then you come back with Punk as champion. He is back to the fanfare originally in WWE. People feel how they like he's a big star again. And to come back to this reception with that theme, with all those aesthetics, man, it's like, how could you be mad at this, man? This is what when you dreamed of being a pro wrestler as a child, this is the moment Punk dreamed of, like in the United Center as the world champion. Chicago, people are going absolutely ape shit for me. Like, come on, man. Like, just it felt good, I think, to see that in Chicago specifically and against an opponent like you said, nobody believed in 1 minute that Finn Balor was going to win, but what Finn Balor still represents, and knowing that if given the time that they can have a great match, that prospect, I think, helped us with this match.
Yeah, really dope entrance. I was thrilled for this whole thing. The match itself, I thought the match was actually very good.
Yeah.
I thought it was exactly what it needed to be. It just didn't have like the heat and suspense behind it that would have made it better. I loved that this was a very physical match. Uh, Finn Balor was showing a lot of desperation. He's been coming back out with his old theme song, not coming out with Judgment Day anymore. He made the point that he wanted to win this match on his own, uh, and he was giving it to Punk at several
Hmm.
points in this match. He had the all white custom um, shoes on. By the end of this match, he had blood smeared all over those shoes, like because he was out there giving Punk the business at some point. Um, Punk kicked out of a coup de grace. That does not happen very often. One of the most protected finishers in this company. Um, and the way it was done, I thought was great. Finn Balor worked the midsection multiple times throughout this match to set up the coup de grace. I thought the spot where he does the shotgun drop kick through the barricade looked great. It looked like very violent and physical. Did
Yeah.
exactly what it was supposed to do. Put over the fact that this guy is continuing to soften him up to use his finisher. Um, it looked a little bit rough, but I thought it landed well when Finn tries to do the coup de grace and Punk counters it, rolls it up into the sharpshooter. Um, wasn't exactly smooth as it needed to be, but I thought it looked good. And there were several spots like that. This was just a very smartly worked match.
Yes.
I think for the pace that Punk works, sometimes it's going to look like the other guy in there, like Finn Balor and some of these other guys are slowing down with him. But the thing that's still the strength of Punk matches is his storytelling. And I thought
Hmm.
the storytelling throughout this match was really good.
Yeah, no, I think that as this run as world champion, CM Punk is locking into that old school, like they're all inspired by fucking Terry Funk. So he's just into that, like it's psychology. I'm not gonna be going a million miles per hour, but I'm gonna smartly work these matches. I'm gonna be in the right positions. I'm gonna be the vet in the match, and I'm gonna let the other guy kind of work super fast around me. And I think that's a lot of what went on here. Finn Balor, the story that they kind of told going into this to that week, Phil, of him being like, I'm gonna be the spoiler. I don't care what happened with Punk and Reigns. I'm gonna come in here and take the championship and spoil that whole WrestleMania thing. I thought was super fun. Him kind of getting back to the things we love about him is awesome. And on display in this match, like you said, he's still as good as he's ever been. Like Finn is still, if given the opportunity, if they were to make him world champion, it would be great. And I think a lot of what is great about both of them in this position at this age was on display in this match.
Yeah. I thought Finn came away from this looking really good. I think it's just a
Mhm.
shame that he was put in this position where nobody believed he was going to win. But I think he still wrestled a good match
He
with
did.
Punk. And for my taste, the Raw match was probably better, but this did exactly what it was supposed to do to advance the WrestleMania build. Because they're really making a point or drawing home the point with that Punk is a fighting champion. Um, Roman is interested in the big prize fights. He's here for the pay-per-views, but week to week he's not going to be here. And this is really what the World Heavyweight Championship was established to be,
Mhm.
because as Roman wasn't there and he had two belts at one point, you needed another world championship on TV. You needed a fighting champion, somebody that was going to be present and could have like these kind of matches in between the big pay-per-views. And that's really what Rollins did as champion. That's really some of the stuff that Gunther did at one point as champion. And so
Yep.
Punk is really doing the same thing and really being the one in this build to WrestleMania. It's just like, hey, I'm the one that's here. I'm present. And of course, that played into Roman tweeting by the end of the night. I don't know who was more tired, the crowd or the champion. And Punk responded to that during the post show. And I thought his response was hilarious. Um, but I thought again, what I keep thinking about this. Oh, there are things I think about this that are funny, but this audience doesn't care because they very much like Roman Reigns. They don't care what he does at this point.
Right.
They're just gonna
Yes.
lop it up. Him making the point of, haha, yeah, wouldn't be me. Work smarter, not harder. And I'm just like, yeah, you're tweeting this from home.
He at
Like,
home, bro. Yeah.
and you're trying to make it seem like, oh well, he had to work this show in his hometown at United Center. Well, I think that's pretty beast. I don't know what you're talking about. 'About. Um, yeah, we want a champion that defends the belt and is here. 'Cause, you know, we want a champion that defends the belt and is here. 'Cause, you know, we want a champion that defends the belt and is here. 'Cause, you know, we want a champion that defends the belt and is here. 'Cause, you know, we want a champion that defends the belt and is here. 'Cause, you know, we want a champion that defends the belt and is here. 'Cause, you know, we want a champion that defends the belt and is here. 'Cause, you know, we want a champion that defends the belt and is here. 'Cause, you know, we want a champion that defends the belt and is here. 'Cause, you know, we want a champion that defends the belt and is here. 'Cause, you know, we want a champion that defends the belt and is here. 'Cause, you know, we want a champion that defends the belt and is here. 'Cause, you know, we want a champion that defends the belt and is here. 'Cause, you know, we want a champion that defends the belt and is here. 'Cause, you know, we want a champion that defends the belt and is here. 'Cause, you We don't want somebody that is working remotely during Elimination Chamber, one of the biggest gates you got this year so far, and being like, haha, sucks to be you. You had to go to work.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing. It's like people were like, "How Roman really got him, smashed him, got Punk out of here." I'm like, he laughed at him for being at work though. Like, I don't really
I was like, did
I
he?
think the whole point is to go to work and like work a big main event as the world champion in your hometown. The crowd loves you. You get this special entrance. Not really a diss to be like, "Haha, sucks to be you." No, it's pretty cool. I wish you were here. Most people in the crowd want you to be at the show, so that's not really the coldest diss, but I do like that. Like you said,
Yeah.
he is at that position. He can do whatever he want, though, Phil. He's like a top guy. He could do it and say whatever he want, and people are like, "Yeah, Roman's that guy."
He can get his lies off. Like he finished that tweet by saying, "Enjoy the last few weeks of relevancy," and it's just like, buddy, you had to challenge him. There's a little delusion here, man. It's a little delusion here, but I feel you. We got the crate reveal up next. I don't know what people expected out of a crate reveal in wrestling. It's inherently stupid. It's inherently silly, and so
no way for it to work ever.
Everything about it, it's always going to be silly. They roll the crate out there right after Punk's match. Both Pierce and Nick Aldis open it. Smoke comes out. Then all of the dancing Danhausen ladies come out. Danhausen comes out to his new WWE theme music. They march down to the ring. Danhausen is doing the points to the crowd. He gets in the middle of the ring, does his curse. They do like the poof of smoke for the pyro. Lights go off. Initially, the crowd popped for him. But then when they realized he wasn't actually doing anything, it was just like, what was that? Then they booed. And there are multiple things that I thought were funny about this. First of all, doing a 4-week build with no like vignettes, with no anything to hint at it being Danhausen, and just cold dropping Danhausen on a major pay-per-view
in a box
is hilarious. And then people being like, wait a minute, my expectations were up here. Where's Chris Jericho? Where's The Rock? It's like, did you guys really think Chris Jericho was coming back in a crate? Like, I know that was a funny joke at one point, but no, Chris Jericho was not going to make his big WWE return in a crate, guys. Like, that was not happening. And then just the idea that I looked around and I was like, everything about the Danhausen stuff in AEW and how he was linked to Punk in a lot of the last year or so with AEW. And Punk is getting this big moment, United Center. He comes out, feels like a big star. His wife wins a championship. He wins a championship. I mean, retains his championship. Right afterwards, his wife comes out, celebrates with him. And then his friend gets a big moment in the same show in the United Center. I was like, this is hilarious. Like,
the fact that
just the idea of Punk being back. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say the fact that the reveal happened immediately after his match, like that was in the contract too. Like I wanted the reveal to happen, but it's got to happen right after you have your big title win with your wife in the ring.
Yeah. Just the idea of Punk being back there and going like, you know what we should sign? Danhausen. And they're like, who? He's like, but Danhausen, it'll work. Like, just hook it up. Bring my guy in. Fucking hilarious. But yeah, so when this was happening, because this phenomena of wrestling, of these things getting hyped up to the nth degree, and then people turning it into this big, it's got to be this major surprise. It's got to be big. It's got to be something that's going to change the shape of wrestling. It's going to change the WrestleMania build. And it was just a nothing thing. It was just Danhausen coming out there and going, yep, it's just me. Curse, poof, lights are off. That in itself was really, really funny to me. And I laugh at a lot of things that are very silly. I've always thought that Danhausen is a good act. I think that he's funny. Just for a guy that's been in this business for as long as he has, and a guy that was a legitimate draw on the Indies. No matter what people will say about like the AEW run, this guy is a legitimate draw. This guy sells a ton of merch. This is proven at this point. There are indie shows all the time where he is front and center on a poster. They're using him to sell these shows. No, this guy has done it. He's paid his dues, and for him to get like on the biggest stage here and get a moment, I was happy for him. So that made it even funnier when I got on and people were like, Danhausen, I can't believe this. This sucks. And I was just like, I don't think it's that serious, guys. But okay. And the longer this went on from Saturday to Monday, and people were getting madder and madder about it, and then trying to like argue their point of like, no, they hyped us up for something, and then it was just Danhausen. I'm like, I think that was kind of the point. That's kind of the point of a crate gimmick of getting you to think this is something bigger than it is, and it's a big joke.
Yeah. No, Danhausen having parts of the entrance choreographed, like he'd do like a little like dance or something on certain bits. I was dying, dude, on the floor.
Hilarious,
and then he
bro.
get the big poof, and then the lights go out, and people are like, "Oh, damn, that legit was it." Killed me. I'm like, how is this not the funniest thing people have ever seen in their lives? People calling him Danhausen, separating him and not Danhausen. I'm like, you guys, this is hilarious. Why? Like, I think there's a certain world where in WWE, in the WWE universe, Danhausen has a big part. Like, I don't understand when people are like, he has no place here. I'm like, what do you mean he has no place here? There's a couple of places I think he could fit in. There's a couple of places I think he makes sense. Like Phil was saying, 1 Hour Tease or whatever the fucking site is called. He was #1 seller over there. Like, they're pissed off that he went to WWE because he's gone now, and he was a big money maker, and he's going to be the same way. You think these kids in WWE aren't going to love some Danhausen? Get ready to learn some Danhausen, you guys. They're about to give him his own little segment, whatever the time with Danhausen on TV. He's going to be getting his bits in, and people are going to love that shit. That's why I'm like, I don't understand why people are so mad. Like, it's pretty inoffensive, I think.
Just the idea of them also putting this big budget behind Danhausen, putting like all of this like pyro and like all of this, like, again, 4 weeks of build into a Danhausen reveal. It's really funny. And then, like I said, the fact that people got mad at it made it even funnier to me, because I was like, wait, you guys are really mad. Like, I don't think it's that serious, but
again, Phil, with the AEW, a guy fresh off AEW reveal, essentially, because this, like you said, they didn't say this is who it's gonna be. They didn't have like maybe Danhausen, no secrets or nothing. You're dropping this guy in Raw off of being, and he wasn't even in AEW for like a full year. You're dropping this guy off Raw of expectations, essentially. So, like, what do people expect this to be? It's starting to be interesting how they're doing that with certain types. When you got Ricky Saints and Ethan Page in NXT, and then they immediately dropped this guy to the main roster, a main debut on a PLE, Phil, like by himself, not a part of the Royal Rumble.
Bro.
Like, this was like they created a spot for this guy.
This is gonna sound like hyperbole, but other than Punk and Cody, is there any other AEW wrestler that came straight in and got a pay-per-view debut that was this big? It's just those two. Everybody else has ended up on NXT. Even when they brought Jade in, it wasn't treated like this. This is technically the third biggest AEW debut on the main roster. And they used it on Danhausen. Everything about that is funny. Danhausen getting this big jump to the main roster straight away before Ricky Saints, before Royce, like before Blake Monroe. Danhausen.
Blake came off one of the big, like, people call that their favorite AEW feud of all time, and they're like, nah, go down here to NXT. Danhausen was in catering for the last year, and they're like, Main
Bro.
roster debut on the PLE.
Bro, Teriyaki God saying it in our chat, and he's right. It's arguably the biggest because Cody and Punk are returns. They were already from over there. This is a guy that is like completely new to their product in Danhausen, and they dropped him in cold on a WWE pay-per-view. Big debut, big weeks of teasing. Hilarious, bro. Thing about that is hilarious to me. And people being like, oh, this is terrible. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. And it makes it all even funnier. Like, it's just, bro, great stuff. My concern, before I get into anything else, is you set the bar so high at this point because you've put him in this big moment. It kind of feels like the Taz thing where Taz always talks about debuting at Madison Square Garden, and that was kind of the peak. It was only down from there. And when we talked about it last week, and I was like, oh no, if it's Danhausen in this crate, like, where does he go from there? It just feels like at that point, what's the move from there? And I'm still not sure about that. But so far so good. The 2 segments that he got this week on both Raw and SmackDown, and then that also is hilarious. Again, this guy AEW debut comes in, big debut on the pay-per-view. It's on both shows this week. on both shows this week, and I thought both the segments did a better job of actually establishing who Danhausen is, what his character is, and why he's so funny. Because I thought the SmackDown thing was hilarious. I thought the Raw thing was also hilarious. And it sets up what the curse is. It's just like, well, wait a minute. He didn't really do anything. And it's kind of like the Leonard Nimoy thing of, didn't I? I cursed him. That's why he lost his championship match. Well, no, he just lost. And it's just like, well, but I cursed him beforehand. And so I think that that's kind of the joke here. And if people don't get that that's going to continue to be this thing of building up superstition around him. Like, I even saw when people were saying, oh, it looked like the pyros malfunctioned because it just gave the poof. I'm like, no, that was the point. It was supposed to look like a gag. I don't know.
It's a bit. I thought of it exactly like the Orange Cassidy one little pyro thing. Like, no, it's like a part of the aesthetics. It's a part of that. Danhausen wouldn't have this big super fireworks show. No, he'd have a little poof. He'd have a little bit of puff of smoke come out, and then he'd get out of there. And that's exactly what's happening. And they're exactly like you're saying, Phil, utilizing him how I figured they would utilize him. They're going to have him in these backstage segments. They're going to have him doing these bits with all the guys who do bits on the show, and that's what he's going to be. He's not going to come in and beat the world champion. He's not going to come in and dominate all the hours. He's going to be Danhausen.
Yeah. I thought this did what it needed to do for him, especially the stuff on TV. And by Friday night during his segment when he was talking to The Miz, and he was like, yeah, you are going to be my mentor, or you are cursed. And by the time he said you are cursed, the whole crowd was saying with him. And within a week, I was like, yeah, he's going to be fine. I don't know why people have this mixed up. Like, this is a company that does not focus on the wrestling. He's doing a comedy bit. He's got a catchphrase. All of that stuff works in his company. I don't know. And now you've got their production value behind him as well. No, this is going to work, guys. If you guys don't think it's going to work, I defy you. You guys are going to be wrong about this. It's going to work. If you're thinking this is going to turn into this thing where he's going to have this big run where he's like, WWE champion or put in like these big moments, that's not what this is for. Like, I saw somebody say this would have been better served if you put him on NXT. To do what? Like, he's not the kind of wrestler that you put through the developmental system. Like, what is the benefit of putting this comedy character through the developmental system? You're not going to make him NXT champion. You're not going to have him go down there and have like this mid-card title run. You already know what the character is. He's pretty established in what he is. Development is somewhere you put him somewhere to workshop his bit. You know what he is at this point. He has a clear idea of what this character is. He doesn't need to workshop the character. Just do this.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so smart about Danhausen and what's been smart about his career is this has been going on for years. Like, if you know the story of Danhausen, this guy's he can work in the ring. He's a great worker. He can have the matches that you would want, the 5-star things if he needed to. But he was like, that's not going to do anything in a world full of people that are having these over the top matches. So I need to create this character that's going to totally separate me from this class of people. And he got to AEW because of that. He was workshopping the character this entire time. So there doesn't need to be development when he's been developing it for like the last 5+ years. We all know what the character is. And that kind of goes to show wrestlers, if you have a character, a clear defined character, and you work that even before you get to the big show, it could work in your advantage. It just has to be a clearly defined character, though. And that's why Danhausen is in the position that he is, and why people are already buying the curse thing on what's supposed to be a serious wrestling show. When it's wrestling, you guys. We all love bits. Again, Phil talks about it pretty often with the AEW side too. Is like AEW wrestling fans like bits too. Wrestling fans like bits. It just depends on who's doing them.
Yeah. I just don't think the wrestling part of what he does is important over there. And for a company that really focuses on everything else, he's exactly where he should be. It's still very funny, like I said, that they put so much hype into this. He got such a big debut. It was crazy watching him at one point when he's walking down the ramp and like he's got the dancers next to him. One of the dancers was his wife. That was great. Again, just happy for him and just like having to have that moment with his wife. That's awesome. But like at one point he was walking down and I was like, he looks nervous. Like because this is like, it kind of looks like this is like all kind of overwhelming. And I asked somebody else the same thing. They were like, yeah, I got kind of the same thing. Because like, again, this guy used to be an indie wrestler. Like he's done like GCW, all like these small shows, all these like gyms and everything. And this guy is walking down and having his debut in the United Center. I'm sure at one point he was looking around like, how the heck did I get here?
Sold out show, Phil. He knows how fans are gonna feel about him coming out of this crate. Like no matter, like he's like, regardless who I am, regardless of what this is, I know what's gonna come out of me jumping out of this box. I know how some fans feel about my bits in general. So like, damn, this is crazy. Going from wrestling in front of 400 people in Illinois and other Illinois places and Indiana's and all these places to a sold out Chicago arena off the backs of CM Punk just won. Like, this is insane. And like, people putting it in perspective on this pod of it being a debut because like the others were return. I'm like, this was crazy. I'm sure he was like, I'll do it, but this is gonna feel like a lot. And hearing the responses from everybody, Phil, on both sides, because there are people that were excited about this. There are people that understand what this is. Then there's a lot of people that were like, what the hell is this? Like, has just been like, it's working either way. Like, if there was if people were like, nothing, we don't care, then I'd be like, oh, that's of concern. But people care in some kind of sense.
Absolutely. It was a lot of people that in the business that have either worked with him or know him that were happy for him, and I think that says everything.
A lot. Yeah.
But yeah, the big talking point coming out of it was that he got booed, and I was just like, he got reaction. Like, yeah. And I know, people will be like, but this was a wet fart and it didn't get a reaction. He got booed, and I'm like, give it a time. And everything, the more telling thing as well, even though he got booed and people were like, it's a wet fart. Every thumbnail and almost everything talking about Elimination Chamber after that had Danhausen on it. He was the most talked about thing coming out of pay-per-view. It was crazy. Like, this is a pay-per-view with Punk on it. Big returns, big upset win to end the show, and most people were talking about Danhausen.
After the show was over, Phil, after the show was over, the social media, my whole timeline was Danhausen. Could you believe what happened with Danhausen? Could you believe Danhausen? Could you believe Danhausen? I'm like, that's what they want. Again, you guys, that they care about this engagement. We've been seeing some stories this week on how important social media is to what these guys do. And if everybody's talking about something, I feel like that hits, even if some people are being like, that was horrible, that was blah, blah, blah. It's still talk, and that's what they care about.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen people also being like, well, he's got to get in better shape and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, what do you guys think the ceiling for Danhausen is? Like, what do you think they're going to do with this? Like, I don't know. This is not a new thing. We've had so many comedy characters. Like, I mean, just think of what the Blue Meanie is, like Toriano, like so many guys that are like comedy characters in wrestling. There's a lane for them. I don't think this really needs to be anything other than what it is. I think it's going to be fine.
And Phil, they're saying if he was in better shape, that would mean something. I know a fool in great shape. I mean, some of the like one of the biggest fools in pro wrestling that is not on TV. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think what you look like matters in these cases.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, Danhausen is in WWE. Still very surreal to me. I laughed about it the next morning when I woke up, and everything I've seen about it since then, I'm like, yeah, this is just. He got big WWE pay-per-view debut.
A huge debut.
Still funny to me, man. Everything about it. It's like I said, people were getting that upset about it. That video of homegirl that does the content, Minerva, and then her boyfriend is behind her, crashing out the whole time. She's just like, "It's Danhausen." And he's just back there like, "No, no, no."
I just came out of it again. Like the funniest thing, you talked about it a little bit, but the influence, you guys, like CM Punk got this, like he got his friend a job, Phil. Like friends have gotten friends jobs before. We've seen people help. We've seen nepotism, all the things. This guy, you want to talk about influence? You want to talk about something? This shows exactly where the influence lies. This shows this guy. This was a hated man, most wanted man in this company. They had his face on a wanted poster for years, and now he's like a front office guy essentially.
There's so many things about this that are funny about that. Punk cutting the pipe bomb and wanting to be in this place at some point and wanting to be on the front of like the cups and everything, a WrestleMania main event. And it's just like he did it. He's won. Like he was on all of the chairs for this United Center. He's been front and center on all of the promotions. He's on the front
new
of the video game. He gets in there. It's like, just even the idea of him going on Art of Wrestling after he left and being on there with a guy that he could never get in there. He couldn't get Colt in there. He got his guy in. He got Dan in. Like everything has changed. It's just it's wild to see, man.
That's supposed to be Colt. Oh, fuck. That just blew my brain. I was like, oh, yeah. Colt did the comedy thing too. He just replaced him with Danhausen. This is wild as hell.
Like, there's so many things about this that are funny. Like, just the way this mirrors, like, Punk's first run with WWE and how all of this is going his way. Everything is coming up Millhouse now. Very funny stuff.
I'm not mad at it, dog. Like I said, this was hatred. They were in court. This was bad. And now it's like, whatever you want, dude. You want to be on the cover of the video game? You want the main event of WrestleMania against Roman? Whatever you want, you guys. It's yours.
Yeah. We ended the night with the men's Elimination Chamber match. Randy Orton versus LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, Javon Evans, Trick Williams, Logan Paul. This was comfortably the worst match on the show, guys. And I thought I was exaggerating until I rewatched it, and I was like, yeah, no, I did not enjoy this match. I mean, there are bits of it that I did like, but boy, the final stretch of it was so overbooked and clunky. Yeah, the women's match was much better, and like I said, I think I knew why they ended the show with this by the end of the match, because I was like, why wouldn't you make the world title match the main event? It's Punk, it's United Center, but by the end of it, I was like, oh, I know what they think this is supposed to do for the main event. I don't know if it landed exactly the way they wanted it to, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, I thought starting out the gate with Javon Evans versus Cody Rhodes, that's a fresh matchup we hadn't seen yet. Really cool to see Javon in that spot with Cody to open the chamber. Trick Williams was up next. Trick's entrance was fire. He came out with like standing on that light pad with like the smoke and everything. Looked like $1 million with like the all white, the fur. Like they've nailed the presentation with Trick Williams so far.
Trick Williams is out of here, you guys. Like, coming off of, spoiler alert, what happens in this match, like, he's competing with guys that are up there, that are in main events. Like, he's set to feud with Randy Orton in the future, it looks like, and Randy Orton's going to be where he is. Like, seeing him with other superstars, Phil, in this match, I was like, oh, he's already one of them ones, and it's insane to see, especially starting with it's Javon, it's Cody, and it's Trick, and it's like, dude, these guys were, again, Javon was wrestling in DPW in front of 400 people. Javon was out. Now he's in the Elimination Chamber against the biggest star in the company. Like, this is wild.
Yes. Yeah, the stuff with Trick, Javon, and Cody, and then of course last to come in is Logan Paul, and all three of them jump Logan Paul because, of course, Logan Paul is insufferable. Throughout this match, I felt this confirmed a lot of what I've been thinking about Logan Paul for a while. A lot of stuff that he was doing, because people keep telling me, yeah, you don't like him, but he's a good heel. A lot of stuff he was doing was not getting reactions. That crowd was not into what he was doing. And I think it's still because he's very athletic. He can do big spots. He can wrestle well. I just don't think he's connected the dots in terms of like what the character is. It still feels like to me Logan Paul playing a wrestler. It doesn't feel like a fully formed wrestling character, and I think that that's what the crowd is not connecting with. And it shows in his matches. I think even the way he works his matches, the character stuff that you expect from him, it's just not there. But he can do all of this cool stuff. He can do all this athletic stuff. But yeah, I think having him be like the big, having him be the biggest threat in this match was a mistake. I know he took Bronson Reed's spot, and you could feel it. You could tell that this was really supposed to be the Bronson Reed spot where Bronson eliminated 3 people, and it really made Bronson coming out of this match. And I think it would have worked better for Bronson. For Logan, it just kind of felt like, oh, they're pushing this guy hard again, and nobody's that interested.
We knew about Bronson on Monday, Tuesday, 4 or 5 days before this match took place. Rebook this match, you guys. This would have worked. It would have worked super well if Bronson was in there throttling fools, running through guys, splashing guys. The concept of eliminating 3 guys in a row would have worked. I would have been into it. But switching it to Logan Paul, and the eliminations just so happened to be Phil. They just so happen to be all the damn black wrestlers in the match. I'm like, this is not hidden for me. And like, the funniest thing about Logan Paul is the complaints that people sometimes have about like Osprey and Ricochet and guys in that class is that they're all flips and moves and nothing else. This guy is the definition of what, and Logan Paul is the definition of that, because he has 0 little things. The connective tissue between the big moves and spots, he don't understand them still, and he's been in wrestling for a couple years now, and that's the part that fans are starting to realize, because the allure of this is a big celebrity with 10 million followers and all that has wore off. Now you're legit just another WWE superstar, and what do you bring to the table that's different than anybody else? And we're starting to see not a lot, because he doesn't have that connective tissue. He's just like, what's my next big spot? And like, that's fine, but what's your character's motivation for getting there? And he just doesn't have that.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. The novelty of the celebrity being a part of this has kind of died down with Logan Paul. I think some people still know like he's got a name and people, but most wrestling fans, they don't really care about that. And I do think you're also right that he just does a lot of moves and there's like no real psychology to it. There's no real character or like connective tissue with it. And I think that's the last thing he's missing. And none of this is me saying that he can't eventually get there and he can't eventually pick those things up. Of course he can. Just at the moment, that's what I enjoy the least about his matches. I think like, and he's had matches that I enjoy. I just think like for as long as he's been doing this, I've been hoping to get more of that out of him, and it just hasn't happened yet. But yeah, he racked up 3 eliminations here. Eliminated both Javon and Trick Williams. Also eliminated LA Knight. Poor LA Knight, man. Yeah. That clip of him has been going around, and I'm like, yeah, I think it's just wrestling. All this stuff isn't gonna look clean. It was very funny the way he tried to recover, and poor guy. And unfortunately, like that's the only thing I've seen of LA Knight from this match that is circulating all throughout the timeline.
There's a clip of somebody when it happens, so they zoom in on Randy Orton, and he he giggles.
He's like rolling away after the elbow, giggling. Very funny. Yeah, did not make LA Knight look great, but yeah, Trick Williams eliminated all 3 of those guys. That set up the remainder of the match. As I think it's I can't remember which person was getting eliminated and they're being pulled out of the ring. That's when we get Masked Man action. Masked Man comes out.
Who's that Masked Man?
Ends up being a decoy to set up the return of Seth Rollins. Seth gets in the ring, hits Logan Paul with a thrust kick, hits him with a stomp, sets up Cody Rhodes to eliminate him. Then that's when Seth pulls off his mask. Big reaction from my guy. Runs away in the night. I worry about this guy because he keeps doing this. And when Braun got hurt, because initially when they kept saying, well, Seth could be back by WrestleMania, I was like, okay, then it's probably Seth versus Braun. But when Braun got hurt, I was like, okay, Seth, don't rush back for this match. Take your time. Get back to 100%. What are you going to do? You're going to come back and wrestle Logan Paul again? You've wrestled Logan Paul at WrestleMania already. This guy does not want to miss Does not want to miss WrestleMania. We've seen this several times. His documentary, he had a WWE 24 when he had that knee injury. And famously, there's a clip of him sitting in a box watching WrestleMania. And he's like so depressed because he's missing WrestleMania. He ends up walking out of there before the show is over because he's that upset about it. And look, that's part of what makes the greats greats, man. Just this drive, this drive to want to be on this show, like this like psychotic aspect of who they are of like, I want to be here. I just want you to take care of yourself, buddy. Like you did not have to rush back from the shoulder injury to do this angle. I hope that he's 100% because he's come back so many times in time for WrestleMania, and I don't know the toll that's gonna take on his body.
Yeah, it is some sick, psychotic, back of the mind. Like, if it's that season, if we're getting into WrestleMania season in September, October, November, and people get hurt, they're like, well, I gotta get back for the big show. And Seth, like, he never again when he did that 24 and he watched that WrestleMania, he's like, there's never gonna be another WrestleMania come hell or high water where I'm not there. And if I gotta kill myself, that's what's gonna happen. Cena coming back at that 2008 Royal Rumble when I thought he was gonna be out for a long time, I'm like, damn, this is setting a crazy precedent because people are going to work crazy hard. And that's what Seth a couple of times has done this, where he's like, I don't care what the doctors say. I don't care what you guys say. I got to come back for this match. But again, Phil, like if he's coming back for this match against Logan Paul again, and Logan Paul's heat is not where it is, I just hope this is the end of this masked guy reveal, honestly, because I'm over it, brother. We got to stop.
We got to stop with the masked men for sure. My only hope is that maybe Braun will be back and that we're actually going to get the Braun match. But if this is just for the Logan Paul match, I don't know, Seth. I think you could have kept doing the sports stuff and, kept living your life, dog. I think it's all right. But, yeah, what a moment for my guy has continued to do all of this, the sports shows while he's been out. He's been constantly visible, constantly on TV. Comes back, gets a good pop. Yeah, got a great reaction on Raw on Monday as well. Yeah, I was happy for him. He got a big pop, but I'm just please be careful. Just please. please be careful. But yeah, that set up the remainder of this match, which made absolutely no sense. For some reason, the chamber door was still open even after Rollins and a masked guy had come in. Rollins had come in and helped to eliminate somebody in the match. Doors are still open for some reason. Drew McIntyre enters the fray because, of course, he does not want Cody Rhodes to get another chance at the WWE Championship. So he tries to attack Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes ends up fighting back and forth with him and Randy Orton. They basically do the Captain America and Bucky thing from Civil War where they attack him together, and Randy Orton does the point like, yeah, go ahead, get him. That leads to Cody Rhodes hitting Drew McIntyre with the crossroads, and that's exactly what Randy Orton wanted him to do.
Come on.
As soon as his back was turned, hits him with the RKO. Randy Orton is the 2026 Men's Elimination Chamber winner. The laugh that I let out for a good 2 minutes after this. Yeah. I know what this was supposed to be. A big shock win for Orton. Randy Orton winning the Elimination Chamber in 2026 is very funny, guys. Coming off the back of John Cena winning the Elimination Chamber in 2025.
Why are they thinking?
2026, Randy Orton wins the Men's Elimination Chamber match. And then the fact that this was so overbooked to get to this place, like you already set this up where Logan Paul eliminated 3 people, and the only reason he really got beaten is because interference. It wasn't like the guys in the match just straight up beat him.
Mm-hmm.
You had to have interference to get him taken out of the match. And then you basically did the same thing for Cody at the end of this match where you needed interference for Cody to lose the match. And it was just like, doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of what the Elimination Chamber is supposed to be? When you do any kind of cage match, is to keep all of these entities out. So it's just a straightforward match. And the people inside the match decide the outcome. And I thought by the end of that, I'm like, well, why did we do any of these things? And to make it even funnier, because Drew interfered in all of this, Nick Aldis was furious at the end of the night. Before the night is over, on the post show, he says, well, because this guy can't stop sticking his nose in everybody's business, he keeps interfering in all these qualifying matches. He interfered in this match. He can't just wait. He wants a title match so bad. We're going to give him a title match on Friday against Cody Rhodes. Why did we do any of this then? Because the Elimination Chamber match is to decide the number 1 contender. We have a number 1 contender in Cody Rhodes, and Randy Orton now. Now you're just going to give Cody Rhodes a match anyway. He lost. He lost the Elimination Chamber match.
We watched it.
Going to give him a match anyway. It's just like, so why did we just do any of that? Why didn't you just put Drew in the chamber, especially after you took Bronson out? Why didn't you just put Drew in the chamber and make it a championship match if that was the case? If you were just going to do a championship match on Friday anyway.
And I think it made Cody look like an idiot first for trying to hit the crossroads while Randy Orton's watching you. He's watching you do the crossroads, just waiting preying on your dumb body. Soon as he gets up, RKO, he's an idiot. Drew McIntyre looks like an idiot because you were like, there's no way Cody should get a match. If anything, you should have cost Randy Orton. Then you would have faced Cody at WrestleMania, would have gave yourself a big WrestleMania match. Instead, you screwed Cody, then had Cody lose. Then they forced you into a match anyways. I'm like, wait, why? What? Huh? I don't understand. Like, this is exactly what Roman is talking about. You're defending your belt and do all this shit, and you already got your matches booked. It just got too much. There was too much. And then I'm like, in the middle of this, Phil, Randy Orton won a 2026 Elimination Chamber match. Like, wait, what? There's some wrestlers that I always say they don't need accolades. They don't need stipulations. They don't need any of this to get big WrestleMania matches. Randy Orton's one of those guys. He could come out and be like, give me a title match, and the world champion be like, yeah, you're Randy Orton. It's a big match. It's all this. There's no reason that he won a Royal Rumble. Like, there was one Royal Rumble's like, there's no reason in the world why Randy Orton should be running the Royal Rumble. Like, what these accolades should be for to get people over. He's over as he's the most over you could be. He's at the max. Like, he doesn't need any more. We could have got to a match with him and Cody any other way, but they just like bastardized this cage match so much, Phil. At every angle, they're like, no, none of this matters. None of it matters at all.
Yeah. I got a good laugh out of the end of this because it was so overbooked. Cody hitting that crossroads on Drew because he's distracted by all of this. And Randy's sitting there the whole time like, Drewski, got him. We fucking got him. Hits it with an RKO right away and pins him. I was like, Cody, what are you doing? Why would you trust Randy? You've been around this guy for most of your career. You studied under this guy's tree as the legacy. You know that this guy can't be trusted as a baby face or heel. He's just waiting to get this RKO off. Why would you do this? And I will say this. The stuff at the end of the match with that image of Randy in the background doing his pose and pointing at the elimination at the WrestleMania sign, and Cody is sitting on the chamber steps distraught. That was great. That was a great visual. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, that's the match. And I posted that picture right after the show and was like, yep, I see where this is going. And people were still like, 4-way. And I was like, guys, no. If you look at that image and you think we're getting a 4-way, boy, you are missing the plot here, man. This is clear as day what this is setting up. Him sitting there feeling like, dang, I can't believe I let him get me with that. Yeah. Very clear as day we were getting Orton, Cody after the way the night ended. There's a lot of interesting stuff to come out of this. Straight away, I told you guys when we got the 3 stages of hell match and Drew McIntyre won, and the way that Drew McIntyre won, this guy's not walking in a WrestleMania as champion. I knew it then. Because just the way he won, that's not the way you put the belt on somebody and confidently make people feel like you're invested in this guy for the next few months. Mm-hmm. I just didn't buy it. So not shocked at all that he lost the belt before WrestleMania. Which we'll get into the SmackDown stuff in a minute. But not shocked at all that we got there. But also, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes is a WrestleMania caliber match. At this point, we've seen Drew, Cody 3 or 4 times, and none of those matches really knocked anybody's socks off. And so I can't see you going back to that match at WrestleMania. Especially, you did it at WrestlePalooza, and the way that people talked about how disappointing WrestlePalooza was, you did it a few times after that. You just did it as a TV match. And you're telling me you're going to use that as a WrestleMania match? No, that's not usually how they do WrestleMania booking. They don't really do that. Like, they want it to feel like a big match that you can only see on this stage. They wouldn't do a match they've done 4 times up to the build to this show again here. Even if you're adding Jacob Fatu in there, yeah, that adds some intrigue to it. Maybe you could have added Sammy into the mix. No, I never felt like this was going to be the big blow-off match for the Cody and Drew McIntyre stuff.
No. And I feel like Cody has been building to this Randy Orton match. I mean, essentially his entire career. Like, every time he talks about kind of his come up. Every time he talks about kind of breaking through, Randy Orton is somewhere in there. And like even off the post of this, they've done the pause together. They've like done all these moments where Cody's like, "You're the guy. Thanks so much for help." Like that's all build for this big WrestleMania match. And like you said, this feels like a WrestleMania caliber match. We need big singles matches, and seeing those two guys stand together feels like it. We've done these other matches on SmackDown. We've done these things to get up to this, and this feels like it. But getting to this, Phil, was weird.
Very clunky. Very, very clunky. I don't know why you couldn't just make this a championship match. Have Cody win the chamber, become champion here, and then Randy Orton just challenge him in the weeks leading to WrestleMania.
Easy as that.
Pretty simple. But there are a few things that I thought about in the last few days. When Cody Rhodes joined Legacy, and really the thing that started the downfall for the Legacy, I believe that was Cody Rhodes pushing that pipe into the Elimination Chamber match. And that's what started the downfall of this group. When Cody Rhodes came back to WWE in 2022, Randy Orton made his return at Elimination Chamber. Afterwards, and Cody's giving that whole talk about how he had a call with Randy before when he knew he was coming back, and he told him, "Thank you for calling me," and then he was like, "Thank you for his career," and he got all emotional, and he's talking about how much it meant that Randy Orton continued to vouch for him all this time, and his career wouldn't be what it is without Randy Orton. Post-show for Elimination Chamber. The fact that all of this is kind of coming full circle at Elimination Chamber is very interesting. You also have that quote from, I think it's Cody's podcast, when he's talking about the picture he has up at his house of everybody lifting him up on his shoulders when he finally wins the championship. And he's looking down at Randy Orton, and he felt like, I did it. I didn't let him down. I proved him right. He kept vouching for me all that time, and I was just so glad that I proved you right. And they're both crying and all this, and it's just like, yeah, this was the feud. Also, I think we're finally here, guys. I think everybody asking for it. Everybody's been saying, when do you turn this guy heel? I think we're finally here, guys. And there are a few things that let me think that you really have gone through the paces with all the other people. Kevin Owens really pushed you to the limits of, are you really a good guy? Is this really who you are? Is this your authentic self? The Drew stuff has been Drew the whole time, saying this guy sucks. He's not really authentic. He only cares about himself. He only is putting himself in his position. And really, the only ultimate person, I'm leaving out, also importantly, the John Cena match. Hesitated in the John Cena match. Didn't just clobber this guy with the belt at WrestleMania, and you lost your belt because of that. And we don't know how far he would have went to get his belt back, because John Cena turned babyface before SummerSlam. If John Cena was still a heel at SummerSlam, we don't know the lengths that Cody Rhodes would have went to get his belt back, because he didn't have to. I think that is all going to play into this stuff with Randy Orton, because the ultimate person to teach him this lesson that you cannot hesitate. Your spot is your spot. It doesn't matter if this person's your friend. It doesn't matter if this person's your mentor. It's me or you. And he made that mistake again in Elimination Chamber. He turned his back on Randy Orton. Randy Orton took that opportunity, and he won the chamber match. If he didn't get his rematch on Friday, he would not be in the main event of WrestleMania. And that's something this guy has got to be thinking about going into WrestleMania. And who else to finally teach this guy this lesson? Because Punk has been telling him, and all of these like Royal Rumble promos they've been having for years, it's like, bro, you got a target on your back. All these people are going to come for you. All these people you think are your friends. Like, in order to keep this spot, you got to become something that you didn't think you had to be. We've done it at this point. He's finished the story. All of this is a bit about him building his legacy. He's got 4 WrestleMania main events to his name, 2 Royal Rumble wins. He's done it. He's reached the peak of his career. At this point, the story is, how do you stay there? And the ultimate person to teach him this lesson of how do you stay there is the guy that was his mentor from the beginning. He's beat everybody else from his era, guys. John Cena, Brock Lesnar, all the other guys that were like the big big final bosses of his era, other than Randy Orton. The only person for him to beat, the last legend for him to kill, is Randy Orton, guys. That guy's turning heel. It's coming. I'm telling you right now, he is turning heel, man. I'm convinced of it.
Rollins was on that side too of that. Cody, you're not the person that everybody thinks you are, trying to be like, I know what you really are, and I know what you would do to stay on top. And Cody hasn't, like you said, every time he needs to really show that last step, something else happens to distract from that. And this could be it. I mean, that's a mix of emotions because Cody is still, Phil, so fucking over. Oh my God. Every time his theme hits, people go absolutely hammy. But as a character, you can see those there's like cracks. You can see him slowly breaking down or slowly realizing that it's going to take more than just being Captain America to really stay on top. It takes more than just being the good guy with the suit that kisses the babies to stay on top, because at every turn, somebody like Randy Orton, somebody like Drew McIntyre is going to try to screw you.
Yeah, he still is very popular. Even on Friday night when he won, got big cheers. But no, the character is where it's at. You've done the chase already. He's done it. He's finished the story at this point. The end of this, getting here and rewriting his legacy and going up against a guy that's also trying to rewrite his legacy, I think it's very interesting. The parallels between Cena and Cena going into WrestleMania, trying to get his 17th world title win. Randy's trying to go in and get his 15th. And again, if this is you trying to etch your legacy, no, you've done it. You've had it. Last time I did this and I cared about another guy's legacy and how much I idolized this guy, I took my eye off the ball. I don't think he's going to make the same mistake again, guys.
It can't be the same.
And if he does, that's just a stupid story. Like, the poor booking. I just don't think that that's where this is going. I just think that, like, for where Cody's story is, where his character is, there's no more left to do. Like, this is it. If anybody else is going to teach him this lesson of, hey, man, you got to get your hands dirty, it's the guy that spent most of his career being a heel. And at this point where Randy Orton is, as popular as Randy Orton is, none of the stuff he's done for the rest of his career, has done terrible things as a character, has had terrible things on his name outside of the ring. Nobody cares. A lot of these people don't care. They just want to sing his song when he comes out and cheer for him. No, a lot of these people are going to cheer him over Cody Rhodes, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's etched in stone at this point. Cody has a sick-ass resume. He main evented against John Cena last year, and he's going to wrestle Randy Orton this year. I'm like, what's happening here?
Yeah, look at the span of 4 years for this guy. Main evented with Roman Reigns. Main evented with The Rock and Roman Reigns. Main evented with John Cena. Now you're getting ready to main event with Randy Orton. What a run, bro.
I forgot about The Rock. Yeah, no, this guy has been in with all the goddamn top stars. Like, he is checking off every box that there is. There's gonna stop being boxes here at this point.
Yeah. I think that this was the right way to go. I know some people are not going to be happy with the result of SmackDown, but following the end of Elimination Chamber, I was like, oh, there's no way you can't just do Orton and Cody at this point.
I guess we'll talk more about it when we get to SmackDown, but like, what is Drew McIntyre what is Drew McIntyre, Phil, is my question.
It feels like it's just going to be a Jacob one-on-one match. That's been what I've been assuming for the last 2 weeks or so.
I just don't know, like, how this, like, I feel like the company likes him, but then I feel like they don't like him sometimes. I'm like, they set him up for success, but then I'm like, then you don't, though. Like, immediately, like, you cut his legs out from under him. I'm like, I feel like he would be in a higher position if they took him more seriously.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. And that's also what is interesting about some of the conversation about Danhausen and people like, this guy's got to get in better shape. You can't get in better shape than this guy right here. This guy looks like he's been carved out of granite.
This guy is the definition of a fucking pro wrestler. He's huge. He looks like $1 million, and they're still like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Nothing matters.
Yeah. Send us in your super chats. That is the best way to get your chats read on this here podcast. You can also send us a chat at humberchats.com/fightful.
Yes, we always appreciate your super chats, your humber chats, any chats. We appreciate you guys joining us here on this Saturday. We're going to get into a few of these things and move forward. Devil Kazuya 27 says, Phil, Danhausen was indeed in the box. Thoughts? I mean, we've talked about it.
We've got into it. Again, I'm happy for him, man. I know people make these things into, what their expectations are. And I kind of felt like it was going to be a big nothing burger. It kind of was still a nothing burger, but what this is going to do for Danhausen is great. I hope that this isn't it for him. I hope this isn't the peak. I hope that this leads to him having like all the merch and getting to do a bunch of silly stuff. But yeah, I think again, people just got to understand what this is. It's a comedy act. He's just going to, you can give this guy, he's in a perfect position to put him on TV every week as well, because you don't have to make time for him in the ring every week. You give him like 2 or 3 minutes backstage every week and just keep him visible, and that's enough for him, which is funny enough because that's what I kept saying when he was in AEW. You can just give this guy 2 or 3 minutes on Collision every week. And when I said that, people got mad at me because they're like, no, we don't have time for Danhausen. Well, I don't know. And that was also kind of a funny thing to me as well. People being like, this guy sucks. Okay, well, you didn't want him in your company where you were like, nope, I don't want him in AEW. This is my favorite company. He's gone. What are you mad about?
Yeah, I saw some talks on, I don't know if people listen to our pod, but being like, I can't believe these guys would want AEW to put Danhausen on. He's not blah, blah, blah. He's not this. I'm like, dog, I don't think you guys understand reach. Like I wouldn't have gave Danhausen a 10-minute match every week, but I would have had him as like, Renee doesn't have to do every backstage segment. Sometimes she's not a Collision. I would have had him interviewing people or something back. Like you can have this guy in multiple spots just because of the kind of comedy wrestler he is and represents.
Yeah, you could have just given this guy like 3 to 5 minutes every week on Collision. And I'm not even talking about Dynamite, just on Collision. There's so much filler on Collision. You're telling me you couldn't give that guy 5-minute segments on Collision every week? Just doing nothing. Like, I don't know.
The most egregious thing was what we know of Y2J Chris Jericho, and people thought he was going to be in the crate. You guys thought Chris Jericho, of all the people in the world, was going to let them put him in a fucking box? Come on, you guys. This is Chris Jericho we're talking about, not just some dude. You think I was going to let him put him in a box? That just was killing me all week.
Bro, if that crate would have opened and it was just Jericho with his arms stretched out with Break the Walls Down playing, I would have cried. I would have cut the TV off. I would have died laughing. I'd be like, all right, that's enough. I'm done. Jericho
would have been back on his cruise so fast, telling them to fuck off if they had pitched him that. Come on, you guys. This is Chris Jericho. Appreciate that. Ben Twinblade says, Cody wins, LOL. Yesterday was 75-ish. Tuesday will be 80-ish. In between will be 60 to 66-ish. Make up your goddamn mind, Mother Nature. Yeah, Mother Nature is a terrible person to us out here. I hope everything's okay. It's cold. I appreciate that, Ben Twinblade. Grapple Geekery says, thank God for Grapsody. After a rough week, I'm here for Reg yelling at squashes, Road Dog Chatter, Steph DeLander, and Manser, and Proto Dunkzilla talk.
Boy, Manser, baby. Yeah, that Stephanie DeLander stuff from TNA is very interesting. There was some talk about this, I believe, when Chris Bay first got injured, because there were people asking a very valid question of why is he doing a GoFundMe and why isn't TNA covering his medical costs and stuff like this? And then we get to today with Stephanie DeLander, and it's just like, yeah, she had to pay for her own medical, what's going on here, and then like, yeah, everything about it is does not make TNA sound great. And I've continued to point this out, by the way. Since the TNA partnership with WWE, very curious. They got a big TV deal, but you see more and more people from TNA making a jump to AEW or somewhere else. Why is that happening?
Yeah, the fact that AEW keeps signing people and they're trying to blah 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 TNA. I'm like, it's not AEW. It's like something going on for the wrestlers wanting to get out of here. Because we've been quietly hearing about things like this and things going on in the background, but I didn't think it was so extreme. And then you hear stories like Steph, and you hear some other things happening, and you're like, oh, okay, they're still trying to function like an independent wrestling promotion, but still trying to act like the big major league budget place. And it's like, you can't do both. You can't you can't say you did both things and do that. Especially when, how does Steph feel if they're announcing these partnerships, they're on these big shows, they're on NXT, and she's paying for her own shit? That probably looked crazy as hell. But yeah, wondering why this big exodus is happening, wondering why this is going on, and you keep seeing stories like this come out.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, Grapple Geekery. Ben Simpner says, hope they don't run Danhausen into the ground. There are only so many times you're cursed before even the juvenile WWE core audience might get sick of it. Really, though? Is there a limit, Phil?
This is a crowd that was still doing the Fandango thing. In that crowd, they were still chanting Rusev Day. I don't know, man. This audience likes those kind of things. I think it's gonna do well.
I mean, what chance? Like, I mean, people like shit like this, Phil. Yeah. Yeet, they love, like, WWE love them bits. They love stuff like that. Danhausen, this is why the network dying officially, I think, is going to be here in the next couple months. Not having the network sucks so bad, because like Danhausen would have had a cartoon, an animated show on there, and people would have, like, he would have been super out of here.
Yeah.
In that case, like, but the merch is gonna, like, people are gonna be mad, Phil, because Danhausen is about to hit.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things I think you can do with him. If you just want to just film this guy and do social media content with him, I think it would do well.
Yes. Bits.
But that's why, again, I keep saying there were little things AEW could have did with him, and people are like, but he can't wrestle. I'm like, but there's so many other things you could do with this guy that have nothing to do with wrestling. I don't know.
They could have a fucking Danhausen on the street bit where he's standing outside in front of the shows talking to fans. Like, this guy just represents way more than just being some wrestler. And even if you could have him wrestler and get squashed, and people are going to love it. I just think, like, I understand what you're saying. This guy isn't Will Ospreay. He isn't a spot food master, but sometimes you need guys like this to fill out the roster.
Exactly. And I don't think having him lose matches hurts him, because he's a comedy character. Yeah.
If anything, like I was saying before when we're talking about the big homie, guys like Danhausen's are in better positions, because they don't, like you said, they could take losses. They don't have that. They can't look strong. They can't do this. Reasons to not be put on TV. Danhausen could be put in any situation, and he's going to come out fine. Sometimes guys in this position have it better. Than the I'm a serious wrestler, I can't lose, MMA and all this shit. Like, that only goes so far. Appreciate that, Ben. The homie Leonard Aaron says, creative Mr. Magoo at it again. Can't see why folks are done with Cody. Can't see a better run for Drew than that Yeet man got. Can't see the women headlining Mania or a non-worked shoot.
Yeah, I don't see the women getting the main event, unfortunately. And I think you could have gotten one out of Rhea. I just think the avenue we went with it is just not going to be the main event, though. I think you could have easily main evented with Rhea and Io, though.
And I think that in the future, there is a world where Rhea main events WrestleMania next year. Is out of the question already. But there is a world where I think that she's still going to,
Yeah, people were big mad at Rhea because it's, again, wrestling fans trying to tell us that it's somebody else's turn. And I just continue to stress to you guys, that's not how this thing works. Like, when you have somebody that's as big a star as Rhea, yeah, she's going to rack up a lot of WrestleMania appearances. And, there was that Coach tweet where he was saying this is like her 5th or 6th WrestleMania appearance, her 5th or 6th world title match at WrestleMania. And I'm like, yeah, it's Rhea Ripley. It's one of their biggest stars. She's going to continue to be in that spot. She's not even 30 yet. What do you expect?
Expect like 10 more, you guys. Like, this is her business at this point. Every time Roman starts talking about his accolades and people are like, yeah, he did main event 10. I'm like, why is it so different when Rhea does it? Like, what's going on? Like, this company tells you how they work. They tell you that one person, Stone Cold Steve Austin, won 3 Royal Rumbles, and like their stats work like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's just different with women's wrestling because there's limited spots for the women on the card at these big shows. And so I think people keep looking around and going, well, she's already had her turn. She's already been in all these matches. Do something else. Give another woman a chance. And I think the answer shouldn't be to limit Rhea because of her star power. It should be to give the women more opportunities overall.
Mm-hmm. And I think a frustrating thing I could understand on their position is they didn't book her as the number 1 woman in the company for the entire year. Like, she was kind of tucked away in a tag team. She was in these other positions, but then it's WrestleMania time and like, you know exactly who they're going to get back to. Like, that probably feels pretty frustrating. And again, not Rhea's fault though.
No.
Ben also says, rest in peace, Troy Murray, a great Blackhawks player and broadcaster, F cancer.
Yeah, very sad news that came out this morning. Rest in peace to Troy. Yeah, very, very sad.
It's just death, terribleness going on out there. Rest in peace to Troy Murray. Leonard also says, pro tip, if your default creative is work shoot, your creative is unwiped cheeks.
Yeah. Yeah, we got some of that in the Raw stuff this week in the Roman Punk segment. I liked it. I think the first segment was better. I still think that they've got to stop tippy-toeing around things and just get to it. Roman comes out this week and he's doing, did my tweet hurt your feelings? And Punk gave a great reply, I think, and saying, no, I'm not the type of person that holds a grudge over a podcast after all these years. And people are like, well, Punk, you do hold a grudge. All right, guys. Yes, we know that he holds a grudge, but that's not the point he's making. He's making a point that you've been mad all this time about something I said 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, super hypocritical to be like, are you mad about words? Like, this whole thing is you based on you being mad about words, big dog. What do you mean?
Yeah, or him being like, yeah, I guess I do look tired because I got bags under my ass because I've had to carry your bullshit for this entire WrestleMania build. And it's like, yeah, this guy ain't been here. Punk has basically been carrying the weight of this WrestleMania build for 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's a good way to respond to I look tired by being like, yeah, because I'm on the road, dude. They announced your schedule is 5 shows coming into WrestleMania. I'm about to be at all the shows.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think we gotta just get to it. At this point, we know these guys hate each other. I think the stuff, the Roman doing the we stuff was very funny because I saw a lot of people, and this is again where I know where we are as a company and where this fan base is, because he's saying we brought you back to sell some shirts and to entertain these 30 and 40-year-old virgins living in their mom and dad's basement, but we never wanted you to be champion. Who is we? That's how Roman talks now. Roman talks like the corporation guy. He talks like the face of the company, not just the face of the company as the guy that's champion, but like the face of all of like these corporate and creative mechanizations. Like, I don't think that makes Roman sound good, but people are like, yeah, Roman's right. And I'm like, this sounds like stuff Triple H used to do that I didn't like. When he'd be like, we know better than you. This is what's best for business. You coming back, and what's best for business is not you being champion. Like, yeah, no, I'm not here for that. So him saying all that and trying to walk away, and then Punk does the Superman dark side meme or pulls him back. Like, wait a minute, where you going? I'm not done. And he runs down all this stuff, and by then he goes, man, you're saying all of this stuff, but you're alone. You have no wise men. You don't have the shield back you up no more. You don't even have your family anymore. But that's okay. You say you're going to retire me. I'm going to beat you, and you won't have to be alone anymore because I'm going to bury you right next to your father. I was like, whoa, all right. Close the doors, cut everything off.
Yeah. Now that's the kind of heat that I want to get to, though. Like this tiptoeing around, like get to it. But I hear you, though. Even in the first promo where Roman's like, when they brought you back, they had to talk to me about it. And it's like, all right, what are you trying to show here? Like, what side are you trying to land on? Are you the people's champion? Are you representing for the people, or what whose best interest do you have in mind when you're as a character, Roman Reigns? Because it's getting a little blurred here of like, you were so against authority, but now you're the authority. And like, I'm just a little confused about the thing. You're trying to turn CM Punk back into like the voice of the voiceless guy, but it's like he doesn't really represent that. Like, you guys would be in the meetings together now, brother.
Yeah, and look, they very much could have asked him, is it okay to bring Punk back? But don't get this confused. A big part of why they wanted Punk back is because there was success over there. And I hate how people keep trying to make this feel like, oh, well, he had to run over there because the AEW stuff was a failure. No, he did very good business with them. Part of the reason that you could go back to United Center after 32 years is because AEW showed you could with this guy. He showed you right away with this guy, you could go in and sell United Center. And yeah, so no, all of this, enjoy a few more weeks of relevancy because you're next to me. No. Don't get this confused. There's a reason why Punk is on Netflix. There's a reason why Punk is on the front of the video game. There's a reason why you're saying that this guy can sell all this merch and all this stuff. Because, yeah, this guy's a needle mover. Like you kept trying to tell us he wasn't a needle mover. No, you can keep trying to make it seem like you're not on my level now. And I saw the good places. The Kaz tweet where Kaz was talking about a ringer. And he was like, Punk is still trying to convince us in all of these promos that he's on Roman's level. And it's just like, no, you're speaking from inside your fan base. You're talking like WWE people.
Absolutely.
No. If Punk was not on this level, you wouldn't be doing this match. Let's call it what it is. This is a blockbuster match for a reason.
Really calling what it is. We were waiting for Roman to get to Punk's level, not the other way around. Punk was already at the level. He's the world champion. He's the guy. Like, it doesn't even make sense.
That's the funny thing about this. Yes, Roman became the guy when Punk was gone, but look how long it took to do that. And that's why when people do this whole, well, Punk's saying all these things and it's not resonating with the crowds. Yeah, because it's not the same crowd. I keep trying to tell you guys that. It's not the same crowd.
It's not. Yeah.
The crowd that Punk spoke to in 2011, that adversarial crowd that was like booing WWE creative. They were booing Roman. They didn't like Roman. This ain't the same audience. They like
at all.
They like Roman. So when he comes out there and says certain things, they don't feel the same way because it's not the same crowd.
Right.
And like I said, you trying to make it seem like, well, Punk's not on this level. This guy came right back. And like I said, it wasn't like he was fired over there because the stuff wasn't doing well. He was champion when he got fired. He got fired for stuff that had nothing to do with the business side of wrestling. It was drama and it was backstage stuff.
And they didn't want to fire him. He was doing great business. They wanted more business.
Because if that was the case, they would have fired him the first time.
I'm saying. Yeah, it wasn't off of that. It wasn't because like, oh, he's losing. He's not moving the needle. Actually, he's moving a lot of needles, and we're kind of figuring out a way to keep him moving those needles, but they just couldn't. So yeah, it's like when people say that, oh, no, Punk's been the level, dude. Roman's the one trying to get up to that. The whole art of wrestling thing was because Punk was a top guy, and they were trying to make the Shield up there with him. It's not the other way around. He got to that level when Punk left, but it wasn't because of it's not the other way around.
Yeah. And Punk's point of being like, let's get this all straight out. let's get to what this really is. You're still chasing me, not the other way around. And he's right.
He's right.
And that's why I'm like, when you say, oh, well, Punk has got to get to his level. No, all of this is about him chasing this ghost from Chicago.
Yep.
It's exactly what LeBron said in his, I'm chasing the ghost from Chicago. This is all what Roman has been doing for the past 12 years, trying to prove that guy got on that podcast and he's wrong. Everything he's done since then, no, he's the guy. There's no denying that. He's the biggest star in this company, biggest star in this industry currently. But like I said, you wouldn't be doing this match with this guy if he was just some fool or some nobody that wasn't relevant. No, beating him means something.
And you want to specifically beat him for something because there's still something deep down in Roman. Because when Punk was gone and anytime somebody would bring him up to Roman, it would irk him. Like it would really grind his gears and get to the bottom of his soul. And there's a reason. And he's been wanting to be like, I've been wanting to shut this fool up for a long time, you guys. And now it's finally my opportunity. And not because he's some chump, just because people have continuously brought their names up together.
Yes, because make no mistake about it. To Punk's point, you've been chasing me. And all of that time, he don't talk about you. When he was in AEW, he was not talking about you. But when the very idea of him coming back to wrestling and him being in AEW happened, you were talking about him in all of your interviews. You were the one saying this guy in a needle mover and
they made him a shirt
him on ESPN and all this other stuff. He was not talking about you. It was the other way around.
Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, I just get to that stuff. Like it's all in there. They're slowly building this brick by brick, but like we know what the foundation is. We just want to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very curious to see where we go from here because there's no going back. You brought up his dead father, like it's no going back. And I saw people saying, "How dare he do this? Like this is a step too far, Punk." And I'm like, didn't he keep bringing up Cody's dead father during their feud?
That's
I'm pretty sure Roman did that.
Yeah, I was gonna say every time Roman had one of those hardcore ass zingers, it was something about Dusty. Most of it was like Dusty heat.
Yeah. Yeah. So now that's off the table. You can't do that now.
That's what I think. That's where we're gonna get to, Phil. We're gonna get to you can't like it's just like with stand-up comedy. Like they don't get comedy anymore. Like when that fan went and apologized to Liv and Roxanne, they might have threw off the. Like I hope we don't get to that point where we can't say anything, we can't do anything, even a part of wrestling. Of worked wrestling stuff, you know what I mean? So like these guys could have talked about it in the back. Hey, they definitely talked about it in the back. Nobody ever blindsides like, hey, we're gonna say something about your dad at the end of this. Like I'm not gonna go off script to try to get you off guard. That's not how WWE specifically works.
This was another week where Roman fans reminded me how funny they are because Roman fans are funny, man. He dropped that bar on Twitter of like, yeah, he's here to entertain all these 30 and 40-year-old virgins, and now they've been using it as their bar against anybody on Twitter that likes Punk. Well, we got one. Here he is, and it's just like, yeah, you know that's a scripted thing on TV, right? I don't know.
And like
hey, man,
a lot of y'all are in this category, so like, what are you talking about?
Listen, some of y'all that sit at home and thirst over Roman and are just like, yeah, I got it. Cool. Or being like, people that are being like, Roman should have never lost. How much more do they need to give this guy? He's been the best booked wrestler in this company for the past decade. What else does he need? And somehow he still needs more, I guess. 10 Mania main events, like the longest reigning champion in the modern era, but he somehow still needs more. I saw a lot of people complaining about that last night with Cody. Like, how much are we going to see of this guy? Like, this is the guy you're saying how much are we going to see of? I don't want to see no Roman Abbey saying we've seen too much of Cody. Like, you can't say that. You personally can't say that.
And again, Phil, going to main event another WrestleMania and win. So like what more do you guys want here? Like this is all his. He's doing whatever
He's
he
probably
wants.
gonna win.
He's walking like he doesn't, his shit doesn't stink. And it don't when it comes to this company. So what more could you guys want? Like WrestleMania is his. That's his brand at this point. More than Hogan, more than all your favorites. Like he is the number one main event guy of this show.
This is his era. This is his era. Like this era, like the way that it was Hogan's era during the Golden Era, the way it was Austin's era during the Attitude Era, it was Cena's era during the PG era, like, and the era before that. This is Roman's era.
Yeah. And rightfully so. Nobody's even saying it shouldn't, but like his fans they're barbs.
Yeah.
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 But they're great. They're great people. A lot of great people out there, they say. The homie Matt Rakiel says, watched Pro Wrestling Eve yesterday. Shout out to the West Coast Pro Women's Champion, Johnny Robbie. Y'all got to check out Hater versus Miyu. And at CMLL, the downfall of Mercedes continues.
Yeah, I got to check out this Pro Wrestling Eve show. Wrestling Queendom is this weekend. I did not see any of the show. They've got Statlander versus returning Dakota Kai, a.k.a. Charlie. They've got, seems like a strong card. Will Ospreay has been really involved in the production and the booking of it. Yeah, looks good. I did not see the CMLL show, but Mercedes gear looked fantastic. She had the big Jaguars gear with like the headpiece and everything and the mask. That was awesome. I pretty much figured she was going to lose to Persephone because she's been doing this dynamic of all of these people that she beat before end up coming back for revenge and beating her. And she ultimately ended up putting over separate women, which, go figure, it seems like that was the point of all of this. But she couldn't tell people this at the beginning. I don't know why.
On the way up, when they're like, she's burying their opponent, she's burying these companies, I'm like, but what happens when she has to give the belt back, you guys? Like there's gonna be something attached to it. She's not gonna just take all these championships and run off, never to be seen again. People are gonna get put over coming back. And that's exactly what's happening now. But it's just funny to see these people go crazy. Women's wrestling is hot, you guys. Like we've been talking about it for a lot of this show. We've been talking about it for a lot of our existence. Like in a bunch of different companies, women are the MVP, and we are continuing to see it here. I want to see that Pro Wrestling Eve show. Like, just the women are killing it right now. It's that time.
Yeah.
Leonard also says, creative Mr. Magoo finding TV time for a glorified merch guy, yet not being able to scrap together a few minutes for Royce. Nasty, nasty shit.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the difference is that you can just give Danhausen 3 or 4 minutes a week. You got to actually put the work into putting Royce on TV, giving him a match. Who are you going to put in there that he can beat? You can't put him in there and lose. So it's like, and then you're also doing the very exact same thing with Oba right now. You're trying to put him in spots where you got to put him in there with people that he can beat. You can't give him losses. That's why he wasn't in Elimination Chamber. And so, yeah, the timing, I feel like, is hurting Royce more than anything. Like, if you have no plan for this guy at WrestleMania, and I said this from the beginning, if you got no direction for him by WrestleMania, he's going to have to sit for a while until you clear out all of your WrestleMania plans, and then you're going to get back to him.
Yep, and that's exactly what's happening. Again, I don't think it's this doom and gloom thing, but it's just represents a different part of wrestling that they have to put different focuses on. Like Phil said, Danhausen has already been on both the wrestling shows this week. Like he could be slotted in immediately in any position with any of the bit people, with any of the general managers, just because he represents. They don't have to beat him. He doesn't have to beat anybody. Just like represents something completely different. And it's gonna start moving merch over there too. So immediately slot this guy in. Appreciate that, Leonard. Shadow X641 says 50 Cent getting cooked by the whole fam.
Hilarious. Leonard, bro. Leonard just said in the comments, if they were serious about him, they find something for him. They did it for Cody. They did it with Punk. Don't make me say this. Royce is not Cody or Punk, guys. You know the difference. You know why it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
0%. They're not in the same world. They don't represent the same thing. It's not the same.
And bro, love Powerhouse Hobbs. Like, I hope this works out for him. But it's just not the same thing. Same thing, bro.
It's totally different. Totally understandable why those guys are presented in that way. Like I said, they're writers and they're all this. I think they could tell a couple stories going into WrestleMania that were different, but they just don't. So okay. The other Mikey V says Persephone looked like a queen after last night, but I thought Mercedes don't put nobody over. Also, people got worked by Cena's album sale numbers.
There was some nasty discourse around the Cena thing yesterday, and I continue to log on Twitter and think, when did telling the truth become wrong? Because I was very confused by that. This is yet another thing where every time Swerve does something, certain people rush to then comment on it, which I also don't understand. It's just like, well, you hate the guy. You've made the point you hate the guy. But every time he says something, you have to react to it. I just don't get that. It's the same phenomena with Meltzer, and there are people that make their whole accounts about how much they hate Meltzer. But then they react to everything he says. I just don't really get that. If you hate him, why do you pay so much attention to him? I just don't really get that. But yeah, this Swerve thing, because there's a Swerve clip of him talking about John Cena, and they were asking him about John Cena as a rapper, and he put over John Cena's skills and just like what he managed to do as a rapper and how successful it was for him in the album. But he also said it always seemed like a persona, because it was a character. You know who else has told you that he was playing a character? John Cena. John Cena has told you in multiple interviews, multiple documentaries, yes, I was playing a character. When they did that Ruthless Aggression episode on John Cena told you in that episode, I used to go out there wearing the most outrageous stuff possible because I wanted to get a reaction. I used to go and do these rap verses and say the most outrageous thing possible to get a reaction because he was playing a character.
In linked videos was my favorite part of, like, he wasn't playing a character. Here's him explaining why he was playing a character. I'm like, wait, the videos you linked are him saying he was playing a character. I used to go down to the damn fade shop and get a fade. I used to go down to the really expensive jersey shops and get this. I used to create my character on TV. I'm like, wait, where you guys? He's saying it right here, and then I land on like
saying it.
Why isn't he still in jorts and fucking jerseys then and hats if that's who he is? So just get out.
Bro, if you ask that guy today, what music is he listening to? He's not going to tell you he's listening to the new Makami or the new Griselda or any rap music. He's probably going to tell you he listens to country music because this is a white man from West Newbury, Massachusetts. Like, what are we doing? Like, and people are trying to turn it into, well, who is Swerve to even talk about him? Who is a black man to talk about black culture and a white person using it as their character? Where are we right now, bro? Like, and people were like, for real, like they were dead ass. Like you had O'Shea talking about why but he was always a rapper first. Bro, your dad is Ice Cube.
Come on, dog. Your dad was in NWA, brother. Like, come on, you do not have to do this for that. For Cena does not need you to go to bat for him. It's fine.
Yeah, it just, everything around that discourse was so crazy. And that's when, like, the Diamond thing, people are like, well, he went Diamond. And, you can't speak to John Cena if you went Diamond. Bro, this is, again, as somebody that is a fan of hip-hop, that is a fan of the music, that is talks about rap music and the culture all the time, buddy. If you think any wrestler is selling 10 million copies of a rap album, you are stupid. Because there is no wrestler that has the equity to go into hip hop and be taken seriously enough to sell 10 million albums. You know how hard it is for a rapper in general to sell 10 million albums? You think a wrestler could do that? Even if you just fell for the rumor that he sold 10 million records, why would you even think that's believable?
The homie Terry, he wears red and yellow. When he was at his peak, he put out an album playing bass. He did not 10 million people liked Hulk Hogan at the time. He didn't sell. That's not how this works, you guys. Do you know how many records Diamond is? That's a lot of records. That is like John Cena was hot when he was hot, but he hasn't sold that many records, you guys. Let's relax.
No, like, bro,
Diamond?
Yeah, people like that John Cena album, but people in the wrestling bubble like that album. That album was not taken seriously by legitimate hip hop fans. Like, that album came out 2005, 2006.
Yeah. 2005.
You know what album people were talking about? You know what album people were talking about in 2005? Kanye West, The Graduation. Not John Cena's that first solo album. What are we talking about, man?
Hip hop heads weren't like that. Cena though, it really did it. Wrestling people that like hip hop, yes, herald that album pretty high. People still like that album, but it wasn't like this game changing thing, and it wasn't. No. It didn't change the world, and it flies to a different conversation on. Somebody on Reddit, I forget, posted a really good post about Udo Ice actually, and like his representation, and kind of like. If a black wrestler was doing John Cena's exact gimmick, his name is R-Truth. If a black wrestler was doing that exact same gimmick, they wouldn't get the same opportunities. They wouldn't get the same TV time. They wouldn't get the chance to even do this. And the fact that John Cena was a white rapper are the reasons that we know that. R-Truth was doing the exact same fucking thing. He'll battle a fool in the streets. He'll dance. He'll do all the thing. He was wearing jerseys, but it didn't hit the same for some reason. And I wonder why.
Bro, that has always been my point of contention with all of this. That he can afford to do a rap character and be taken seriously and still main event WrestleMania. A black wrestler would have never been able to do that. Ever. There's a reason why there's so many black wrestlers, Swerve included, that once they want to do the music, they do the music separately and they separate it from who their wrestling character is because they want to be taken seriously as a wrestler. When you're white, you can afford to do that. Mm-hmm. That's a big difference here. And that's why I'm like, you guys are trying to act like, oh, well, you know, who is he to even speak on what Cena's done? Like, yeah, it's a lot of stuff about this that I was like, I'm not getting involved on this on the timeline because y'all would be mad if I told you what I really think. Like, why are we not calling this exactly what it is? This is culture vulture vibes, and in any other situation, we would be calling this exactly what it is. But because it's Cena and Cena's popular, you can't just call it that. But that's exactly what it is.
This whole situation is so funny because people keep being like, those guys only like Swerve because they were on a podcast with his cousin and blah, blah, blah. They talk about Swerve way more than we do, Phil. Every time I get on on the internet, they're talking about. So I'm like, his name is way more in your mouth, way more often than he is in ours. And you guys think you're doing something. I just don't get it. I don't understand. Like there's wrestlers that I don't like. You guys, anybody know them? No, because I don't fucking talk about it. I don't spend my whole life being like, you know what? Fuck this guy. Because why? What is that doing? You guys, what is it doing?
Yeah. I think I'm wrong. Because I said 2005. I think late registration was 2005. I think graduation was like 2008. But I digress. Yeah, I've seen all of that. I've seen people do you guys just defend him because, you know, your friend is his cousin or because whatever other reason. When we started doing this podcast, when I started writing about wrestling, the main thing I wanted to do is talk about either the wrestling I enjoy or put over things that are great in wrestling. I don't want to spend time on our podcast or on my social media account constantly talking about a wrestler I don't like. And once I've told you I don't like this wrestler, you guys already got it. I'm not going to tell you over and over again, I don't like this wrestler. I guarantee you there are wrestlers, like you just said, that I don't like, that a lot of our audience don't even know that I don't like them because I never talk about them. What are you doing? Especially if you're a black outlet. If you're a black outlet and you've made it your entire to-do to try to ruin the reputation of another black wrestler, what does that do for you?
What is that?
What does that do for you? If your whole thing is to uplift blackness in this space, what does that do for you? And people can feel whatever they weigh about this. I've tried to temper my thoughts about it. I've tried to not say things and walk on eggshells. I don't care. Enough. This is the thing I said last week. At some point, you're being a hater. And the funny thing, I said this yesterday on Twitter, we used to know that being a hater wasn't cool. Like the whole origin of player hater and the term hater is to point out that people that do that aren't cool. You're lame.
Yeah.
At some point, being a hater became cool. And that's how I know we've completely lost the plot. And that's where we are with the internet. That's where we are in the world. You don't know that being a hater makes you a loser. I'm sorry, but it does.
Makes you a dork. Corny. Cornballs. You're a bunch of cornballs.
It makes you a loser. And look, I get it. Hating is funny. It is. It's a lot of things that come with it. It's entertaining. There are people that made it their whole identity in the entertainer business, and it's funny. But don't get this confused. It doesn't make you cool.
It doesn't.
It does not.
Pretty much all the women that I interact in my life, they all call me a hater because I talk and act a certain way. But it's always derogatory. They're always like, "You're being such a hater." It's never a good thing. And I'm always like, you know what? I hear you. Sometimes I go a little overboard, and I'm gonna reel it back in. It's never cool. They don't want me to be that. I don't want to be like that. It's not cool. It's just kind of just stop.
Yeah. Being a hater or a stan isn't cool. The whole point of the origin of both of these terms was to call these people losers.
Stan
and
drove off of
now
the bridge.
Turned it around and made it.
I was gonna say Stan drove off of the bridge with his wife in the trunk and she was pregnant with this kid. That was the end of Stan. It wasn't like Stan was cool and then Eminem they high five together. It was bad.
No, these are derogatory terms, guys. Hater and stan are derogatory terms, guys. I don't know where we lost the plot, but somehow we lost the plot, man.
I will also like to say before we stray away from this, in 2017, 2016, 2015, when I wanted to start writing about pro wrestling and get more involved, I wanted to write about black professional wrestlers. I knew zero of Will Washington at the time. I want to say that this is 2015, 2016. I didn't know this at all. There were 5 wrestlers that I wanted to write about. I talked about it multiple times. The black wrestlers, the 5 pillars of black wrestlers. And these guys were the reasons that I'm here now. One of those guys was Swerve fucking Strickland. Before I even knew who Will Washington was as a person, this guy was already one of my favorite wrestlers. I started podcasting. I started the BW 500 because of 5 wrestlers, and Swerve was one of those wrestlers, you guys. So I just want to lay that out there, establish that. Well, Washington don't got shit to do with me liking Swerve Strickland. I learned of that when I met him. It wasn't like, oh, cool. No, that has nothing to do with this. And moving forward, it has nothing to do with my fandom either. What do Will Washington have to do with them? So stop bringing the shit up. There's the guys that this should go out to aren't listening to this, but I just wanted to say it out loud.
I think it's funny, too, that people do that. Well, I don't think it's funny. I think it's very insulting when people act like, oh, well, you only have this opinion because, you're a Fightful and, Sean has this opinion. Oh, so because Sean has this opinion, I don't have a brain of my own and I just think what he thinks and he just tells me what to think. Or because we podcasted with Will Washington for 2 years, but, we don't have a brain of our own and you're just regurgitating what Will Washington thinks. If you listen to this podcast in any extended amount of time, you will remember me and Will don't agree on a lot of things. And that's still the case today. So why would it then be that, oh, because that's his cousin, that is somebody that I'm now going to put on this
He's off
pedestal?
limits. Don't talk about Swerve.
No, that's not the case. There are several things that Will likes that I don't like. There are several things that he dislikes that I like. We're not the same person. That's just a stupid way to think, but I don't know. One day we'll get into a lot of the stuff that we've had to take on in the past 2 or 3 years since he left this podcast, and the misconceptions that people have of us that we don't talk about, and we just kind of move on and are just like whatever. But it's annoying. It's annoying that people have taken his success, that's a good thing, and tried to turn it into a negative, because that's what people do. And I just think the fact that people make so many things into a negative is just ridiculous in itself. I had this moment this week where I was just really looking around like, is this it? Is this all you guys do all day, every day? Just be negative. I can't do this with you guys every day. And that's why I don't engage in a lot of discourse, because I just think it's dumb. I think it's dumb, and I think it's a lot of stuff that does not matter.
I don't want, like, I'll be like, sometimes that's like, y'all don't got jobs. Like, we don't, like, I understand what's going on, but some people, like, you go down their timeline and they wake up and just hate all day. I'm like, there's got to be something better to life, you guys. That's not a way, that's not good for your mental health, is what I continue to say.
It's got to be
Just
something
waking up
else
being
for
a
you
hater.
to do with your day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's that's why there's so much off of the Cole album that I love, but it's just really this idea that uh you you hear so much negative stuff, or you see so much stuff on the timeline all the time. And I think you sometimes forget just how positive people that really, really listen to you or really fuck with you are. And we have great listeners. We have people that like I see all the time that are like either I interact with on social media, or people that I see out at wrestling shows. I mean, even when I went to the Oscar thing on Sunday to do the Oscar Photoshop, there was somebody in line that just stopped to say hello because they knew me from the podcast and other things. And I think we take those things for granted because there's so much negative energy around everything, and that's why it's just like, guys, just chill out, man. I really wish people would just chill out. It's not that deep. And I know sometimes people are like, well, you say everything is not that serious. I really think some of this stuff around wrestling in general, it's not that deep. It's wrestling, guys. Let's calm down.
And like, there's real shit going on, and we're like arguing about like fight our favorite wrestlers. Like, I think there are way deeper things in the world, and we should probably chill. Like, I don't know anything about the Sean Ross Sapp stuff, but I was like, I don't know what's happening here. There's Dragon Lee stuff. I'm like, I think I got to stay off the internet. I think, Phil, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, no comment on all of that. I saw it and I was just like, It was one of many things where I was just like, yeah, let me not put my 2 cents in because people will be mad at me. I was just like, again, I just think a lot of discourse is just a waste of time. It's just a waste of time. Whoever that was that put that tweet up, like every time there's like a wrestling show, people feel like they got to have like this whole town hall event about it. It's just like, guys, express your opinion and move on. It's okay. We don't have to keep doing this.
Wait, have you guys heard my opinion? That though, hold on. I'm back here. I'm way back here. Don't stop the meeting yet.
It was a lot that I was just like, boy, but this whole thing of everybody knows how to do your job better than you do, boy. Everybody can tell you how to cut these mics on. Everybody can tell you what to write about. Everybody know how to do your job better than you do. It's so funny.
Well, why didn't you do this thing? Well, I would have did this. I'm like, all right, you know what? Keep it, I think. Yeah, how about that?
It's okay.
It is super okay. Let's get into some more of these super chats and move forward. The homie Van Twinplay says wrestlers are going to start giving Danhausen shit to convince him not to curse them. Danhausen pulling up to the show in a Bugatti one week and an Aston Martin next week. Comedy gold.
Hilarious. I definitely think he's going to end up in a tag team because he's just kind of like tailor made for a tag team.
Mm-hmm. With the Miz, they already setting it up.
Oh boy. Oof. I don't know if that's what I want to see, but I can see it happening.
Appreciate that, man. Meet Norma says Trae Young went full Craig from Friday. He got ejected from a game he didn't play in. Let's crank. The Danhausen talk show will be the new Miz TV. Yeah, I think there's going to be a Danhausen talk show too, Meet Normas. I'm with you.
Would not be surprised.
There's got to be one of those. There's a TV back there. Danhausen's cursing people in the crowd. Like, that's how you really make the money. Appreciate that, Meet Normus. Antonio Morales says, went to the Hog Show last night. Had a lot of fun. I went to high school with the announcer. Fave part of the show was booing a wrestler just because he's from. How do you say that? Joliet? Isn't that in Illinois? Yeah, shout out to the homies at Hog House of Wrestling.
Nice.
I didn't. There's a lot of wrestling on last night. I need to catch up on some things. There's a lot of people running at the same time. It's kind of a busy weekend for wrestling in general. There's a lot of shows today too, but excited that you got to check that out, Antonio. I'm going to watch that show. The homie Van Twinblade also says, I'm talking to you specifically, Triple K, Good Nighthausen, and Danhausen need to be a thing on TV. You trying to get Danhausen out of here, Van Twinblade?
Yeah. No, I did not talk about the Green Lantern trailer. I thought it looked cool. Look, man. I think it's also I'm getting older, and I think the older you get, the less you want confrontation with people. The more you're just like, yeah, you can just have it. I don't be one to argue. I was looking around, people like, oh, this sucks. Where are the constructs? Where are the costumes? I'm like, it's just a teaser trailer. It could be in the show. They're just not ready to show you yet. It might get revealed in the show. So far, the trailer I thought looked good. I don't know. And it might be bad. If it is bad, can't be worse than that terrible Green Lantern movie we got a few years ago.
People in this situation, like you're describing, like I saw there's a new God of War TV show or something, and people like saw like one still from it, and they're like, get this shit. I'm like, you guys don't even let things come out before you're like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. And it's starting to be too
terrible.
Much.
Yeah, it's terrible. We don't even know what it is yet. The show might be actually very good. Like I saw people jump to that conclusion about the Wonder Man show, and I thought Wonder Man was really good. And so, yeah, it could be fine. I just think we got to wait and see.
People are sick. The homie Anwar Starwin says Streets need Sheamus to come back from Paul Katrash. Listen, Sheamus just trying to work out in the morning.
You guys coming up with these names, Paul Catraz and like Guantanamo Bay, man. y'all are silly, man.
Guantanamo Bay is absolutely insane. These rosters, I think there's a wider conversation to have about bloated ass rosters, because I think there's bloated ass rosters on each side. I don't know how you combat it, you know? The homie Ryan,
Did you see a scary movie trailer?
Oh, I did actually see that. Yeah, that looks pretty dope. I didn't see. I mean, there's that middle section of scary movies where we're not good. I got off of them, but like the first two scary movies, I love those movies. I love the Wayans brothers. I love the whole family, and like it looks like it could hit. It's just. I don't know. These days with parody movies and how people it could be horrible, but it looks pretty good from the trailer.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the first two movies. I think that's the thing to be hopeful about it. And after everything Marlon did on that press run, doing Club Shay Shay, and just being able to go back in there and do his movie his own way, and they had to call him to fix it, that's a big win for him, man. Can't do nothing but applaud that man.
Absolutely. Them being like, yes, you were right. We do need you to save this franchise that you guys created and made this great stuff off of. I think it's awesome. They got the original cast. They got all the elements. Keenan, Sean, and Marlon are writing this together. Like, this is all the elements. It should be awesome. I'm going to go to the movie theater to watch it for sure. The homie Ryan K. Lamb says Y2J and a dude wipes crepe telling peeps to wipe. Listen, Jericho would not be mad at a sponsorship.
Absolutely not. That part, Nick, man, they did steal this franchise from the Wayans. So again, him getting to come back and restore it. Even if it's not good, gotta applaud that guy for that.
Right. Gotta support, and even if the worst movie we've ever seen, gotta pull up to the movie theater to be like, they got it back and they deserve it. The homie Ben also says, I don't know what happened with Danhausen and AEW, but I would guess it has to do with his dad, Phil Brooks.
Maybe. I don't know. Every time these things happen, like, we'll assume one thing, we know like maybe 20-30% of the actual story, but we don't know the whole story. So I don't know.
Right. I'm like, did he get him in at AEW? Like, how deep is it? Ben also says, I like Danhausen. I just hope that they occasionally do something different with the curse gimmick.
Yeah.
What if they don't? What if he's just like he's Pusha T? He does these coke raps till the end of time.
Bro. Speaking of which, a thought popped in my mind. The similarities between the way Booker and Trick Williams are used. Wouldn't it be like the ultimate height of hilarity if they put Danhausen with Trick Williams in a tag team? Would not be shocked if they do it.
0%.
Not something I want to see, but I would not be shocked. You know how they love their nostalgia. You know how they would love to be able to be like, look, it's just like Booker T and Goldust. Would not be shocked at all if they do that.
Damn, I'm so sad that I can see it. I pictured it. I see them doing the bits behind the scenes. I see Trick being like, well, what the hell is this guy about? You know what I mean? Just like confused at Danhausen's whole existence. Like, you might have just cursed somebody, Phil.
I hope not. But I just know how this company loves their nostalgia, man. I would not be shocked.
They do love them some nostalgia. Ben also says, I can't wait for the next Royce Keys interviews where he says he left AEW because he wanted to wrestle more. Listen, I'm out of this.
That clip of Alistair this week, is that?
I did.
Very, very funny stuff.
I don't know, honestly, you guys. I just say every time, Phil, I'm just like, why are these guys saying these things? Like, we get it. Like, I know why you went back. You don't have to justify any of this to anybody, you know?
Yeah, look, man, I get it, man. Look, coming out with your wife now, she's like, she's coming out and moving like a snake, and like, he's happy.
She moving her body like a snake, Mom? That's crazy.
Move your body like a snake, Mom. I don't know if we can still sing that, but yeah.
Wait, somebody else is on the song. We can say we're talking about who's on that song? Is that a Nick? That's not Nick Cannon, is it?
No, I don't remember. Who else is on that song? I don't want to type it in. I don't want that in my Google search.
No. I can't search that in my phone. It's not Big Ticket. Did Big Ticket have a R. Kelly song? What's Big Ticket?
He's on. Oh, it is Big Ticket. Because he's on. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he is on that song.
What?
Yeah. That's right. Because I'm remembering like him riding the camel in the
Oh,
video.
yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kales. We on camels in our throwbacks. What a time.
Times were different, you guys. Everybody wanted that feature, man. It didn't matter who you were. They're like, who do you want for this album? It was one guy you were going to specifically at that time. Ben also says, who's the greatest rapper of all time, John Cena or Marky Mark? Neither. 0%. They wouldn't even make the top 500.
Wow. That's an egregious two choices to get, bro. Cena or Marky Mark.
Okay. And like, look, you guys, I was there. I like some of the Cena shit. I was having fun, but like he is starting to become into the overrated status. Like, you guys, let's relax. Please pull it in. I'm a big Cena fan. Have been a fan. I like some of that rap shit, but let's relax.
Yeah, I was never a big Cena guy. I can appreciate him, but was never a big Cena guy.
Even the way he tells the story, he's like, yeah, I was joking around in a van and Stephanie McMahon heard you. It's all jokes. And like, you guys, I don't know if you've noticed, I'm very serious about hip hop. We're very serious about it's not a bit. I don't like when people do it as a fucking parody. And that's what a lot of it felt like. And that's exactly what Swerve was saying, but nobody was trying to fucking hear him.
And it's funny because it's not like this is like Swerve's like analysis of the situation. That's what he said. That's what Cena said. That's what other people around the situation have said. That he used to do like the raps for people as a joke. And it got entertaining. It was one of those like party tricks he did and people liked it. And they were like, why don't you do it on TV?
All because of Swerve hatred, Phil. Like, this feels too much.
Yeah, this is the second time I've seen people make egregious claims like this, and I won't get into some of the stuff around it because, as I keep saying, not all conversations are for everybody, man. And you know, that's why I wish people would be careful with certain things they're saying, but they won't. They won't.
They never will. There's only going forward. There's no turning back. Appreciate that, Ben. Anwar Starwin says, Gabe Kidd getting those jokes off about New Japan now.
Yeah. Big signing for AEW this week. The dogs are officially all elite. Figured the Gabe Kidd would end up over here in America, signed to AEW at some point because he's over here a lot. But we made official this week. Clark Connors has been making appearances leading up to this week. But the big reveal on Wednesday night's episode of Dynamite is David Finlay is officially all elite. And right afterwards, Tony Khan put up the graphic with him, Gabe Kidd, and Clark. We're officially going as the dogs in AEW, not the War Dogs. I assume that has something to do with some of the same stuff from WWE and the War Raiders and advertisers not wanting to use the word war on TV. But I think it works. I think the dogs works as a name for them.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised about this. We've heard talks the last couple. I mean, I guess it's the beginning of the year of what's Finlay gonna do. Is he gonna? They kind of did a departure from New Japan, so I was like, okay, that's a thing. He had a couple of those matches where he was like, this is it. WWE, there was talks and interest. Of course, his brother works there. He has lineage there with his dad. There's some team forming in NXT called like the second, what is something?
Birthright.
The second Birthright, and they're second and third generation people. He could have potentially went there. That was in the back of my mind. I'm like, if you have legacy in WWE, you might always want to try it, maybe. But then there's also like what the position that Finlay is in, he could get stuck down there potentially. The thing with AEW and their partnership that they have with New Japan and how there's crossover and fans understand when a wrestler comes from New Japan, they know them over there. They're not getting dropped in Raw when you come into AEW. So when he showed up on Dynamite, people knew who he was. So it's not a surprise to me that he would take AEW over the other places because he already has an established thing pretty much in the company.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad to see Finley as somebody that's really come around on him in New Japan over the past few years.
Yeah.
I think he can have some strong matches with AEW. As soon as he popped up and he was using the shillelagh as the weapon, and then even afterwards his music came on, I was like, oh no, he still got his music. We're here, man. I was a little worried, and I would have supported him regardless if he went to WWE, but I was a little worried. There's some talk about them lowballing him over there, and that's why he ended up in AEW. I don't know how true that is, but it wouldn't come as much of a surprise because we've heard other situations with other wrestlers that wanted to sign, or wrestlers that were on contract and were prepared to re-sign, but the negotiations fell through. So would not be shocked at that at all. But I think this is a good place for Finley. Do you think it's a little concerning that Tony is still signing so many people? Because the roster is getting a bit bloated.
Yes, because like I'm excited. I think this is a good place for David Finley, but like, where's Ace Austin at? You know what I mean? Like, there's some wrestlers like that kind of exist in that plane where it's like, if we keep signing guys, how do we filter in the people that were just signed, or how do we filter in people that are kind of sitting in the back? We only have so much TV space. We only have so much time to let these wrestlers get their shit off. And could it be too much? Like, that's really the only concern in situations like this. Cause like, I think the dogs are awesome. Like, they look great. My one thing is like, seeing them in the ring holding the guns up, Phil, I'm like, the Bang Bang Gang, this is eerily kind of similar to their exact same situation. And like, what place does David Finley have on this roster?
Well, this gets us to that feud that I've been asking for years. I kept saying, like, if we're going to do a matchup at Forbidden Door, it made all the sense in the world to do either Finley versus Jay White or do the War Dogs versus Bullet Club Gold. And now that they're under the same umbrella, seems like there's a very good chance that could happen in the near future. I don't know what Jay White's status is, but you got to imagine
Where is he?
When he does come back, Jay White and the Guns versus the Dogs makes a ton of sense.
It does. I think it makes a lot of sense. So, like, in that case, I'm with it, but I do think there is a world where there's too many signings, especially with like, we still got people like we're talking about Jay White and Ospreay and people that are going to come back. And like, where are all these new signees going to fit in?
Yeah. I think that's going to become more and more of a question, but I think that's also why you have to figure out what ROH is. Because then you can make ROH the home for some of these people. But yeah, you gotta give ROH its own identity.
I mean, it looks like this week they're trying. They finally did the tapings in Jacksonville and they aired some of those episodes and people were out there. This is exactly what it needs to be. It needs to be like studio style wrestling, own dedicated tapings, establish what that roster is different than the AEW roster. And exactly what we're talking about here, Phil, we have such a big loaded ass roster. We can have a dedicated bunch of people in Ring of Honor that are separate from AEW. We got Big Bill and Brian Keith, Ace Austin, Top Flight. We can have like Myron Reed. We can like establish a sick ass roster over there. Of course, Athena and Deanna, like all these people, we can establish that separate, have that as a development brand, bring those guys and really establish who they are to the main roster and change that away. But then they're still getting main roster style money and they're still established in AEW as something else. So if they kind of continue what they're doing now, I think things could totally work out, but it's still going to be hard to slot so many wrestlers on essentially 2 TV shows.
Yeah, that's a lot. But yeah, I mean, this feels so similar to last year where AEW has started the year really hot. Coming out of Grand Slam, they've been a streak of really good episodes of Dynamite so far. And yeah, this was kind of the same way last year, coming out of Grand Slam going into Revolution, it just felt like, yeah, they were peaking at the right time. And very similar here. I think the Max stuff on TV, this world title run has been a lot better this time around.
Yes.
I think it's helping to wash that bad taste out of people's mouth from the ending of the last reign. Uh, giving Kevin Knight all these opportunities. Cannot be happier for this guy. After he got the main event with Swerve, you could have easily just dropped the ball from there and not giving him more opportunities, but making him a trios champion after that, giving him the AEW World Title match with Max, and then giving him another main event this week. It's a great sign for him. I hope that they continue this forward momentum with him.
Yeah, I'm starting to notice that Max is irritated, or Max was irritated on how people talked about the end of his last world title run. And because he always brings up like the Adam Cole shit and kind of how that petered out, and how, because people talk crazy on his name. And I think everything that he's been doing as the world champion this round is to shut people up. Like, he's having matches with indie guys. He's more active even on the AEW roster. And I think matches like this one on Wednesday with Kevin Knight are, again, to shut people up. Everybody continues to forget how great of a worker Max is because he's such a great promo and he talks so well that you forget when the bell rings. He's a top guy for a reason. And I thought a lot of his greatest strengths were on display here, of like knowing where positions to be in, knowing where to make Kevin look great, but also knowing when to cut him off, knowing when to calm down the crowd, knowing how to work as a territorial style world champion. Max is really locking into that old school, I'm everywhere, I'm the guy that's being chased after, but also I'm starting to form into the prime of my career. Like, I'm loving everything that he's doing. This round, I was nervous how he won it, and there's talks of how long he's going to hold it, but I think everything he's doing right now is really good.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about where this Hangman thing is going, but we're just gonna have to wait. But I don't know. I still don't know about going back to stipulation, but everything else on the show I've been enjoying. I love that Brody's still in the mix. Brody Swerve is going to be a banger, hopefully. They have history together. I thought the stuff with Brody this week and the Swerve promo afterwards was really good. I've come all the way around on Brawling Birds. I'm not a big fan of that name initially, but they're great. If you would have told me in all of this that they're going to bring the Inspiration in, do the debut of Inspiration, and then they're going to get squashed by the Brawling Birds, I was like, oh, okay. And I saw a lot of people kind of jump off the cliff with that and go, why would you bring them in just to have them squashed? But these are a lot of the same people that are like, how does the Inspiration fit in this company? And like, why are you signing them? They're kind of in the vein what I was talking about with Danhausen earlier. If you do the comedy stuff, it doesn't matter. Like, if you just present them well as characters, them losing on TV isn't a big deal. But you got to establish that. And I think at this point, the Birds have more momentum. I would even say at this point, just fast track them and put the belts on them.
Yeah, I don't even think we need to wait. With how great that they've looked, I think the Brawling Birds are right there for next up for the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championships. The Inspiration / Iconics are such a good comedy tag team that sometimes them losing helps them more than winning does. Like, there's some of those old backstage segments in WWE where they were coming off losses and they were just being all tired and goofy, that were big time good segments. And I think they could do that same type of thing here in AEW. They're getting throttled by Jamie and Alex Windsor, and they're backstage being like, oh, what the hell happened? But still just adding in jokes. Even how they did it on this thing of like trying to get their theme to keep playing so they could keep dancing. Like, again, wrestling fans like bits, and if they're done in moderation and they're not really taking away from too much other things, I think they can work. And I think that's what Inspiration is going to represent. It just looks good, Phil, in the division, seeing an established tag team on the other side of whoever has having these tag team matches. Because a lot of AEW's women's tag division is makeshift teams or teams put together because they don't have a lot of strong teams. Add in a strong team, they're not going to come and beat everybody. They're going to represent a certain space and a certain thing on these shows. Yeah, really good bits. Let's get into a few more of the super chats, I think. Ben Simpner says, I assume SRS is on the Epstein list based on social media. That's crazy, isn't
it? Yeah, there was a lot I saw that I was like, yeah, this doesn't need my 2 cents. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there was a lot of there's a lot of stuff that I was like, I don't know if you should say that, but I guess
they be talking crazy on the internet. Everybody does.
Yeah,
it's too much.
There was an N-word comparison that I saw, and I was just like, wrap this up, man.
I was just like, wait, how did we get here? Wait, huh?
Yeah. And I saw someone trying to explain why he has a point, and I was just like, yeah, again, wrap this up, man. It's okay.
I think that's the part that was the most egregious to me, Phil, is them explaining it. I'm like, wait, no, I don't think you need to. No, you don't need to explain why. I don't want this.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine.
Appreciate that, Ben. The other Mikey V says all Bullet Club Wrestling is back. That Dogs versus Bang Bang Gang feud is going to be fun. Jay White has a lot of unfinished business when he gets back.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully they have big plans for him when he comes back.
I think Jay White fills a lot of slots when he comes back, and they need to really get to it when he does, because fans want it. Every time I have a damn pod, somebody's bringing up Jay White. Like, he represents something. Appreciate that, Mike. Shane Monster says, not sure what you guys thought of Studio ROH. Manet gave us Okada versus AR Fox and paid in full for Big Bill and BK's tag team. But man, more seating, please.
Yeah. Paid in full is a really great name for them. I thought that's a good way to repackage them. I haven't seen this Okada Fox match, but can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I need to watch the ROH show in full, but I'm very excited about this, and this is exactly what the future of it needs to be. I think the reason for the limited seating is they're just trying to see what this is. They're trying to see if they could do a show in short notice and how many people will show up. It's just really trying to establish what the new studio type of brand is.
Yep.
Orion Ben says, let Chris Hero and Madison Rain control new ROH TK.
Sounds good. I don't know if he's interested in doing that, but sounds good.
I think it's just funny because no one has any idea at all what's going on behind the scenes there or who's booking anything, but they just keep saying, Tony, have somebody else book. How do you know somebody isn't?
Seems like Tony's booking everything. I think he said that enough where that's where people are getting that from, but who knows? You just never know.
They keep trying to pass the buck off, but like a lot of this, just that's not how it works. Or maybe it does work like that. Nobody knows. Appreciate that, Orion. Our homie Aaron Busby, the Buzz, says Drake has no classics. I don't know why he's starting out the conversation like that. The fact that we're still debating this 2 years later proves my point. Oh yeah, Reg, you going to AEW on Wednesday? I'll be at Dynamite in San Jose, Buzz, if you're gonna be there.
Yeah, I disagree. I think that he does have a classic. I think at the very least he has a classic. Yeah, because I don't know if you like his first mixtape that really put him on the map. I don't know how you can argue that's not a classic. I still to this day think if you're reading this, it's too late. It's his best album. I can't sit here and be like that's not a classic in this household. And I know a lot of people think that Take Care is a classic. So I disagree. I think he does have a classic.
I think so too. I think the definition of what you think a classic is, what fans think is, and what time proves is, I think Drake has 2 or 3 of those, but I guess that's a debate for another state. Like I think you could put like Nothing Was the Same up there too. Like, I think he has records that I would include in classic. Not 100% of the records hit, but I think there are a lot of classic records where not 100% of the records hit.
Yeah. Yeah, his whole point of the fact that this is still a debate proves I'm right. There's a lot of things that are still debates, where people are saying a lot of things and they're wrong in these debates.
I mean, they say that about Cole too. They say Cole doesn't have a classic album. I see a lot of people say Method Man doesn't have there's a bunch of history's greatest rappers that people say don't have classic records. So that's why we need the source back.
Yeah.
They wouldn't take it though. As we see with like Meltzer's ratings. People don't care about ratings. They only want to establish their own ratings. I appreciate that, Busby. Adelia Chambo says, just wanted to say thanks for the great show today, as always. Appreciate that. Remember, for 38 months. Thanks for chiming in after 38 months. That's awesome.
Wow. Yeah, appreciate you.
Or is it Adelia? I'm sorry if I screwed up your name. I don't know how to talk. Appreciate you being here. You're awesome. You're great. That's all of our super chats. Let Drake live, Busby.
Appreciate you guys. We got some humper chats here. Got humper chats here from Humper Chats regular. Tony P says, so I'm feeling good this week as the Heat are on a 4-game win streak after Wade took his baby bro Bam and made him remember what Heat culture is. Also, I got my Double or Nothing tickets and about to get some tax money. I am doing better than some people in the wrestling world. Hey man, it sounds like you're doing it big, man. I am very much thinking about going to Double or Nothing. Have not made a decision yet, but sounds like a show I might need to be at. It's in New York. I don't know.
Sounding pretty tempting.
More from Tony P. Yeah, very much so. More from Tony P. He says, as to the Petty of the Week winner, I would like to nominate fast food Twitter accounts shitting on Popeyes. Though if the host has a better winner, please award them. I mean, I feel where you're coming from, but I think the week's winner has to be Stephen A. Wasting our time on ESPN to respond to the entirety of the Pelicans organization and their social media account because he's a big, massive egomaniac. Yeah.
Yeah, he's won a couple times, but I'd probably give it to him this week too. Like dedicating, what are you doing?
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah, I did see Mr. Banana Head. I did see Trick on Breakfast Club. I haven't seen the entire interview, but what a great look for him, man. Hopefully this continues.
I didn't know he was on Breakfast Club. That is a really good look for him.
Yeah, he's on Breakfast Club, and I think he was on Ebro's show as well.
Ah, okay. That's what's up. That's dope.
I think he was on with Ebro, Lauren Rosenberg as well. I know Blake was on the other Rosenberg pod, Cheap Heat. Yeah, but yeah, shout out to Trick, man. He's looks the part, man. Looks like a big star, man. They just got to get to him, man. Give him some wins, give him some storylines.
Absolutely.
Tony P says the good AEW streak continues. Night is up next with Kyle. Big Tech showed she is worthy of being a champ. Rosa looked healthy again. Savage King arrives. Swerve/Brody is going to be nuts. Yesterday, CMLL and Eve shows Jamie versus Miyu and Monet versus Persephone were gold. Yeah, man. Every week that passes, you see why they made the move to put the belt on Tekla. She's got all the momentum right now. She's hot. Like every week, she's showing more and more personality. During the Rosa match, where she was like taunting the crowd and doing like this shimmy while she was walking around, that was hilarious. She's been doing like the media stuff recently. Yeah, no, she's got it. She's got an it factor, man. And I know how people feel about Statlander, but you can see why they made the change, man. It was just time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, when Tekla made her entrance this week and she just walked out and you can just feel it coming off of her, like you just understand why again she was kind of hot shot, not hot shotted, but like she skipped the line to become AEW Women's World Champion, and rightfully so, because again she looks the part, she has intensity, she's cool, like it's what you would want your champion to look like.
She's been killing it. And we've interviewed her twice, so I've been thinking this whole time, like the more and more people talk to her, the more and more that people see her personality, the more people are gonna like her. I mean, it's to the point. If you have not checked out our interview on our YouTube channel, please go check out our Tekla interview. But like, it's at a point where I log in on our analytics sometime, and all the top three things are all Tekla clips for like our interview.
People love her, dude. She has a personality, and like she isn't even showing her full force
Yeah.
on TV. That's how great she is. Like when she really hones in, it's out of here for her.
Yes. More from Tony P says the slash what the fuck. Okay, you possibly hit on the topic of Swerve's Cena comments. I can say why he went. I can see why he went off on people twisting his words around to make it look like he was dissing Cena. Uh, he was more complimentary than anything, more than I have ever been of Cena. Yeah, that's what made it so weird is that people were like acting like he dissed Cena, and then it was like I think the thing that really took me back was people being like, "Who is he even to speak on Cena?" It's like, okay,
That's always the best. Like
let's calm
he
down. Yeah.
represents all the thing. He's a top guy in wrestling. He's a wrestler that started a rap career. It's like all the reasons why he would have to speak on Cena. He has them already.
Yeah. I think I skipped one of your Humper chats, Tony. My bad. He says the El Paso crowd sucked, and booing Kevin. A lot of Texas homies were saying not shocked that the city's crowd booed a black man. He says
Mm.
live TNA, the build to WWE Championship Mania matches. Why do a here damn Drew title in the first place? Uh, yeah, I mean, I just never believed Tony. I'm telling you, it's just something about the way he won that match in Three Stages of Hell, where I just was like, he's not gonna keep this belt, like because you've made the point that he didn't pin Cody to win the match. He just jumped out of the cage because Jacob interfered. Yeah, I was never confident in this reign, and so not surprised at all that he lost the way he did. Uh, Doing it in this way of Cody had a shot at getting a rematch through the Elimination Chamber, and Cody lost, but he still got a match anyway. That's some real Cena booking that they used to do all the time, where Cena would
Mm-hmm.
lose and still come out on top
Didn't matter.
anyway. And that's the kind of stuff that people ended up not liking about Cena. And that's why I'm also saying it might be the right time to turn him heel, because this is the kind of stuff that's going to give people Cody fatigue. Like you're not
Absolutely.
you're not helping him as a babyface when you do things like that, because it's just like it seems unfair. And then you have people on the show like Sammy or somebody else pointing it out, and that doesn't help him. Like
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff on SmackDown, like the backstage with stuff with Sammy, and then the backstage stuff with Randy, it made it seem like Cody did something underhanded here when he didn't. It was really that Drew has been a thorn in his side all this time, and the general manager did what he was supposed to do. He punished Drew, but all of this was done in such a cumbersome way.
It makes Cena look like no, it makes Cody look like super Cody, and it makes him look like
Yeah,
he doesn't consequences don't matter to him because he could just again say, "Well, I'll give me a championship match and win anyways," and the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber don't matter to him because he's a top guy that just bypasses all that. And that, like you said, even if it's not Cody doing it himself, fans will get tired of that. That's kind of the way when when WWE tells you this is the guy and we're going to let him do whatever he wants, that's when people start to revolt.
exactly. And so that kind of stuff won't help Cody in the long run, because he doesn't feel like an underdog anymore. It feels like,
Right.
no matter what, he's going to end up in the main event. And fans don't like that, where they feel like no matter what happens, it just feels preordained. This person is going to end up in the top spot no matter what. It's not gonna help him. So did get the world title match on SmackDown. Coming into it, the entire way was like, yeah, Drew's losing, guys. So I wasn't shocked. The way that the match was put together was very strange. Like the table spot that was everywhere, the table fell apart under them, and then they just put a table up anyway and did a table spot, and I was like, oh, I think that's room for a disqualification, but I guess not. And then Drew just outright headbutted a referee, and I was like, yeah, I think you got to disqualify this guy now. I was like, was this made a no disqualification match, and I missed it? Because yeah, that should be the end of the match. But yeah, the match was fine, but again, nothing about the match made this feel like it was worthy of a WrestleMania feud. I think it's unfortunate that Drew is kind of in this spot. It kind of feels like the same spot that Punk was in, where it's like, okay, this is the real big star that we want to do the WrestleMania match with. So yeah, you gotta lose the belt a month before WrestleMania because yeah, you're a star, but not the star we want in this spot. And
Right.
there's so many similarities to that. I mean, even the way that Drew feuded with Punk, and then Punk ended up winning that, and then Punk went on like a part-time schedule. And meanwhile, Drew is the one there every week. And it's like, well, how did this really help him? Because he ended up losing that feud in the long run. Yeah, it helped him as a heel, but where does he go from here? And it's been a lot of that for the past year or so with Drew. Like, where does he go from here? I'm assuming this is leading to Drew versus Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania. I think that's a great spot for Jake. I think that's a good matchup for WrestleMania. But again, where do you go with Drew from here? Are you going to put the belt on him again within the next year? Like, I feel like Jacob's got way more momentum to be in that position than he does.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier of like, what is Drew McIntyre? What does he do off of this? Because like, there's so many situations where it looks like he got like when he's yelling about the whatever, when his character's like, they're trying to screw me, they're trying to do this. It really starts to feel like it in some situations of like, he won the world title, but again, in kind of weird ways. He was never at any moment, even when he was world champion, treated as the number one top guy. And fans could always feel that. Like, he always feels like he's playing second fiddle to Roman, or he's playing second fiddle to Cody, and it starts to shine through. And so the whole time while he was on this mission to screw Cody, I was like, it feels like you're screwing yourself, because like you keep involving yourself in things where Cody's gonna come out on top in the end. And so the Elimination Chamber thing happened, and like you said, Phil, it felt like they were showing us Cody and Randy. So it was like, well, where does Drew fit in if they're promoting this one-on-one between these two guys, and then immediately announcing on SmackDown this Friday they're having a world title match? It was like, that is not faring well for Drew at all. This is not a good setup in one point for him here. And then it ended up how we kind of suspected it to end up. And again, I'm like, Drew has everything. He can talk. He looks amazing. Like everything you would want in a WWE superstar, but he just can't get to that point he wants to get to.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know where you go from here with him after WrestleMania. Like obviously the Jacob stuff is the next direction, but like after that, I have no clue where you go with him.
Move him to Raw?
Yeah, I don't know. I felt the same way with. I think him on Raw makes a lot of sense. I'm surprised he hasn't had like a legitimate reign with the World Heavyweight Championship yet, because it would fit his character. It would fit as somebody that's been visible a lot, and he can have the TV matches, and like I think like Raw, moving him to Raw would be really helpful. But Yeah, who knows what you're gonna do with Roman after
Hmm.
WrestleMania? Is Roman gonna be like a fixture on Raw? Like, what are you gonna do with the World
Right.
Heavyweight Championship moving forward? Um, I don't know. It could go either way. But yeah, Cody Rhodes coming out of Elimination Chamber, the way that he was booked in the Chamber match, the fact that you can make the argument that he didn't really lose clean because it was a distraction that set up the RKO to have him lose. Like, yeah, it just kind of felt like, and even like afterwards, and like you said, they immediately set up the match. Nick Aldis, as soon as the show was over, set up the match. It was like, yeah, yeah, Cody will be champion by the end of this week, and that's what we got. And yeah, I mean, you could look at it two ways. I don't think that this is great for Drew. I don't think this is great for some other wrestlers around this situation, like Jacob or Sammy. Like Jacob would be fine. I think Jacob is gonna end up in a WrestleMania match, or he's gonna end up champion. But like Sammy, I don't know what you're doing with Sammy at WrestleMania now, and I
Hmm.
don't know when you get back to this world title win for Sammy, because it feels like they were teeing this up all of last year, and I don't know how you get there now.
I see people saying that Saudi Mania could be it, but I'm like, I feel like that's even more reason that it's not going to be it because of where it's going to be next year. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah,
can't feel like I feel like they're gonna have the big monumental, like the Rock and Stone Cold types, and that pushes Sammy down even farther. I feel getting
yeah,
out of the world title picture. I mean, there could be like a not WrestleMania season time where he maybe comes back up because they have been telling the story. I mean, if the story that you think could happen with Cody going heel, and they have been telling a story with him and Cody, like he could go against a heel Cody, but I don't know if he'll beat a heel Cody. So there's lanes for it. It's just again where things were last year and where they are this year just seem like two different worlds.
yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's the direction for Sammy at this point. I want him to get this world title win. He's been deserving for so long. I don't know what is going to happen now. It could happen in Saudi Arabia, but it kind of feels like WrestleMania 43 is going to be all of the like big money
Mm-hmm.
blockbuster matches. Like if you can
Yep.
finally get Roman versus Rock, you're doing it there probably. Like if you
Right.
can get, one of the if you could squeeze out another AJ Styles match, I'd imagine it's probably going to happen there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you're probably gonna use that card for like those kind of matches, and I don't know where Sammy fits into that.
That's all I'm saying. Like he deserves to have a big match. I just don't know if he will have one for the world title.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. As far as if this is the right choice, I don't know. I think for the argument you can make about like the two belts and like the two belts have been like rarely treated as equals. I feel like with these two mania main events, you're doing two one-on-one matches. They feel like two big matches. They feel like two big matches worthy of this stage and worthy of the world title. And so I can't say it was the wrong choice. I don't know. And they've been teasing Randy versus Cody since Cody came back. This is the big match a lot of people wanted to see as soon as Cody came back. And I think the timing of it is perfect because he's he's beat all the other guys from the era that were picked over him. Like, his whole thing with going away and, rebuilding himself as a main eventer and showing he could be like the face of a company was to come back and have these kind of feuds with guys like Brock and Cena or Orton or so many of the other people of his era that are picked over him. And so Orton's really the last piece, like the guy that he had the stable with, the guy that he sees as his mentor. That's really the last piece of the puzzle for him. So it feels like the right time to do it. I still think that there's a Cody Cena match, Cody Punk match that
Punk.
we haven't
Mm-hmm.
gotten yet. Um, but like this just feels like the perfect timing if you're gonna do this Cody Orton match, and if you're gonna turn Cody heel, this is it. This is the time to do it.
Yeah, wasn't super high initially when Randy won the Elimination Chamber. I was like, Cody and Randy is a main event. That thing's about to be slow motion for me. But I think the story and what it represents is enough to sell it. And I think that they needed the world title, I think, Phil, for motivation of what Randy Orton's going to bring to this feud and kind of making it into a bigger match. Like I think it could have totally worked as a singles match, no championship because of their history. But I think having that extra little, you're gonna bring Cody to a different character, a different lane, having the world title involved is the only way. So I'm not mad at that. It's just like what we're talking about, the Drews and Sammys and the people kind of on the outside that are kind of affected by the championship being a part of their match.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're in a interesting place in the sense that they have their two main events, but filling out the card, they haven't quite got there yet. Like I don't think that the Liv Stephanie stuff has been terribly interesting. Jade and Rhea is it's an interesting matchup. I don't know why they didn't go with the Charlotte feud because they keep teasing it, but going with Rhea Jade is an interesting choice. And based off of their first segment this week, I wasn't that impressed. Like it just kind of feels like stuff we've seen before. And they could change that, but so far, like this WrestleMania build has still been kind of lukewarm to me. At the very best now, after Elimination Chamber, you can say you have your two biggest matches of the weekend in terms of like star power and the things you're going to use as the selling point. But yeah, this show's in a month and some change, man. You got to fill this thing out, and yeah, they've got a lot of holes to fill on this card. Uh, we got a Motor City Machine Guns sighting this week, and so I was like, where did the tag titles figure into this show? How are you going to figure Trick Williams into this show if he's going to be in the mix? Because it feels like you keep having Trick hover around Randy Orton. So all the way up to Elimination Chamber, I thought maybe we were getting Trick Williams versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Now that he's not wrestling Randy Orton, I'm not sure where you're going to go with this. Based on the stuff from Monday and the Dragon Lee match with Gunther, which was fantastic. Despite all of the stuff around it, like the talking points on the internet, very, very good match. Based on like the build around that and everything that happened with that, that tells me we're probably getting Gunther Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio. Yeah. I think that with the Legends ending career type gimmick that Gunther's been going through this last couple months, makes a lot of sense for him to get to another legend and try to end his career there too in Rey Mysterio. And that match is going to be fire because we know Gunther works well with everybody. So you wouldn't even know that they had a great match this week with all the damn discourse surrounding it. I was like, that's probably the worst part. They put down a banger too.
Yeah, match was very good. Yeah, Lucha's, like I said, had the fire match with Carmelo as well with Del Hio, Dr. Wagner Jr. That was hot. It kind of feels like based on the stuff with Dom losing the IC title to Penta on Monday, and just how that played out with Finn Balor stopping him from using the ring bell. I mean the bell hammer. That's gonna lead to Dom versus Finn at WrestleMania, possibly. I guess. No.
That's a story match.
Yeah, man, that's another thing. I forgot about that part. Shout out to Penta. He looked great on Monday. Big first championship win with WWE. Long overdue, I feel like. Dom didn't need that IC title anymore. He was just kind of doing nothing with it. He wasn't defending it. And part of that is because he got injured, but it was time. It was time for him to play, and it makes a lot of sense. Like I said,
Yeah, shout out to the homie Penta. Well deserved. I think that the discourse around the Lucha Bros has been so funny since Phoenix finally came in. But Penta has continuously just gotten over and continuously gotten more fanfare. So him being kind of hovered around Dom for so long and finally getting the IC title win, I think is awesome because Penta's one of those guys that I knew if given the opportunity in WWE for what his gimmick is, that he could cook, and it actually is shining through when he gets the opportunity.
Yeah. So I mean, you've got like semblance of Mania builds for some of these guys. I just think it's crazy at this point that some of these people you still have no idea what they're doing. Like I said, someone like EO, the fact that we still don't know what EO is doing at WrestleMania is crazy. Oba's on TV a lot, but I still don't know. Like, is Oba going to be the guy that answers this Brock Lesnar open challenge? There's the report that it could be LA Knight. I don't know.
I hope whoever does gets to win, because if it's either one of those guys and Brock beats their ass, it's going to look horrible.
That's why I'm worried that it's going to be Oba, because if you're not going to give Oba the win, I'm telling you, do not do this match, man. Do not do this match if Oba's not winning.
Now, if he goes out there F5 and Brock pins him, God, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. But we'll see. Hopefully some of this stuff also gets filled out. WrestleMania, like I said, is right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Send us in your super chats. It's the best way to get your chats read on this podcast. Also send us more humper chats. We have some more from Tony P. He says, he's still talking about the Swerve thing. He says, you got people trying to say Cena did a better rap gimmick than him, and he is salty as a clapback at him. Like, Caster and Swerve are two different black folks, right? Swerve even said he's keeping his hip hop and wrestling separate other than his theme. Yeah, that's my entire point. People trying to say, oh, he does a better rap gimmick. Yeah, Swerve is telling you this guy's playing a character. I never want you to think that he, as a rapper, is a character. That's why I separate it from my wrestling. It's just two different things, and that's why people are just having two different conversations, and comprehension is like in the toilet, I guess.
Yeah, they don't understand that saying Cena has a better rap gimmick is saying the whole thing right there. Yeah, because it's not a gimmick on the other side.
Yeah. More from Tony P says, hell, if you wanted to relate him to anything in hip hop that is related wrestling wise, Swerve character is more akin to Suge/Big Red. Overall, it was just messy people just being overall messy. Let's end by getting my 2 cents in about Jade/Rhea. Like y'all, I think 2 to 5% chance it's a work. In my opinion, it's not. Also, you basically explained the Who situation in a rational way. I also add black people. We are right to feel a certain way about reports about black people, especially black women in WWE. And then he continues. Sorry. Black people, confident for years as a people, has been seen as arrogant due to how we express it. Now Jade has a reputation, but we don't know what really is going on backstage. Now let's talk about that promo. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it, man. Like, Jade has this reputation, but we also know like the perception of very confident black women and how that's perceived by the world at large. So, I just don't know how much of that is what's happening here. And I think people are conflating things because they are immediately getting the perception of, oh, well, what's their problem with Jade? And it's like, well, we don't know.
We don't know.
Because we're not backstage. We don't know. And I think people are like making this into, a personal thing or trying to take a side in something. And we just don't know enough about if people don't like her, if the rumors are true that people backstage don't like her, we don't know why that is. And if you're just saying it's because she's a confident black woman, that could be true, but we don't know that. And so I just think people got to be careful, jumping to conclusions.
Yeah, because like Bianca Belair is a confident black woman too. It's just
I like
different.
Jade, so I did think it was crazy. Yeah, and we've seen Bianca posting all this stuff of her rehab and how a lot of the women in the locker room have been sending her flowers and how much the locker room loves her and can't wait for her to be back. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's just too much stuff here. We just don't know. And I think, like I said, people have to be careful jumping to conclusions because there's just, like I say all the time, you don't know these people and there's just too much we don't know. But yeah, I like Jade, and I thought it was crazy. It looked like basically like they were trying to jump her on the timeline, like, well, yo, what's going on? But like, I fuck with Jade. Jade came out looking like $1,000,000 on Friday night. When they were doing the whole muscles thing, I'm like, yeah, look, man, Rhea's Rhea, but like, if we're having a body off, can't compete. Sorry, can't compete.
I've scrolled past social media of people thirsting over Jade, like they don't know she's a wrestler. It's just like, who's this random woman? And I'm always like, this is the difference.
Yeah, big difference. It's so funny. Every time people show like that old footage of Sable and Jacqueline having that bikini contest, and every time we go back to it, I'm like, why did Sable win? Why did Sable win? Jacqueline looks better than her. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm crazy, but I'm like, no, Sable should have won.
And Sable did like a pasties gimmick. Jacqueline let them things hang a couple times, like so a couple on accident. Them things is hanging, and like Jacqueline was looking, whoo-wee, brother, crazy. 10 out of 10. I'm telling you, like, yeah, no, it was rigged, Phil. It was rigged. Shout out to Aunt Jackie.
Yeah, yeah, rigged. Hey, boy, like your boy in office, rigged. Yeah. I think that's all. No, I'm sorry. We got a few more Humper chats. My bad. I missed a few of them. Tony said, Jay looks comfortable with the boo-boo face walking out for the promo. It felt like she really didn't want to say those lines. No, she is losing the belt. I don't know how to describe it, but it all felt like Jay was visibly not her normal self. I could see that. It was a very safe promo.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I do think Rhea's gonna win at WrestleMania though. I feel like that's I kind of feel like that's the wrong choice, but we'll see.
I mean, as soon as she won the Elimination Chamber, that's what I thought the victory was going to be. Oh, uncomfortable. Yeah.
But yeah, appreciate you, Tony. Then he also says, now are people still mad the inspiration got squashed by the Brawling Birds? Also, if I was Roman, I would have punched Punk for going full Christian on me, but I like the subtlety told Roman is under his skin, here to make money. Punk finally went personal. Yeah, I think you got more room to continue to build off of this segment from Monday, but like, yeah, you can't keep implying things. At this point, you got to just get to it too.
Yeah, they imply. We already know most of the implies, so say some real shit.
Yeah. More from Tony P. He says, with that, fuck Trump, fuck this whole administration, and fuck ICE. With that, take care of each other. Peace and love. And then he says, oh, I forgot. AEW taking New Japan talent is good for the new Forbidden Door build. If you think about it, it's no longer going to be the best of the best show. Now you have some personal feuds and feelings added to it, all with those left in Japan those days. Yeah, I think that's the best thing that could have happened for the New Japan and AEW relationship. To be honest, you've got contentious right relationship now. You've got people
Mhm.
over there. I mean, you've got your main champion saying, "No, I'm a New Japan wrestler. I have no interest in signing over there. I represent this country. This country. I represent this company." I mean, you even had Shota Umino say something this week about people that are leaving and going to AEW. Gave the shot to Umino after that, and that's exactly the type of stuff you need for the Forbidden Door build for sure.
And the homie Max, the AEW World Champion, has not held his tongue anytime they bring up New Japan. He's always talking about his Bush League. They're below him. He doesn't want to be a part of this. We need to continue stuff like this because it just makes everything more fun.
Yeah, yeah, I absolutely agree. I think it helps. I think it helps this relationship in a long run, especially for doing shows like Forbidden Door, because now it's not just like, well, here's some dream matches, or here's some matches put together at the last minute. You actually have some heat behind these things.
Love some heat.
Speaking of New Japan, New Japan Cup started this week. Started with some controversy straight out the gate. We got 3 nights of New Japan Cup starting earlier this week. Aaron Wolf took on Don Fale in one of the opening matches. I don't know what Gato's doing with this guy. It's so strange. And when you watch the matches and you watch him on these shows on the undercard, he looks so good. Like you can see it. This guy can wrestle. It's very it very much feels like they're trying to like cover for him being green, and maybe they're not comfortable in him putting him in a tournament, and they're not comfortable with like putting him in long matches yet. But having him lose to Fale in the first round of the New Japan Cup is egregious. Like, what are we doing? I don't get it. And I mean, I could sort of see why you would do the match last time at New Beginnings and put the title on Ren Narita, because you're trying to establish Ren Narita as the leader of House of Torture without evil. But Fale, like, why is he losing to Fale, bro? Like, and I think the match itself and how he lost to Ren Narita wasn't good, but like, dog, Fale, like, what are we doing, bro?
Like 2 months ago was Wrestle Kingdom, Phil, and we left that show being like, damn, Aaron Wolf's about to be that guy. Like, he set up, he had such a great showing there. And like everything post that is like, wait, do you guys believe that he's going to be the guy? Because I feel like every time they put him in the situation, they're like, it's kind of like the same thing we're talking about earlier with the big homie and Danhausen and all these people and Oba. It's like, if they don't want to put him in all the situations, so they have to figure out a way to get out of it. But like the way they figured out to get out of this was by having Bad Luck Fale beat him in the first round. It's like, no, what? Hold on. That's not really, you're confusing me as to like you putting him over, but also you're not. So it's like, I guess they're trying to show us the adversity and the stuff on the way up, but it's just weird.
Yeah, I did not get this. This match was not good. And it wasn't really positioned as a good match. But just everything about it, Fale winning and moving on is, what are you doing, Gato? But yeah, Don Fale won his first round matchup. He's gonna face Shingo Takagi in the next round. On the same show, we got Yuya Uemura versus Great Khan. Really enjoyed this match. Yuya, I keep singing the guy's praises. He is definitely what you need, like straightforward baby face. He worked a really strong match here with Great Khan. Great Khan's continuing to try to use the Iron Claw and set up the Eliminator to put him away. Yuya Uemura countered it a few times. Had some great transitions and counters in this match. But Yuya Uemura picked up the win. He's going to face Joel Maloney in the second round. Looking forward to that match. And then night 2, we got Taiji versus Ren Narita. More House of Torture shenanigans. This match wasn't terrible, but it's more the House of Torture stuff that I'm not the biggest fan of. And I think there's so much stuff you can do with Ren Narita as a wrestler because at this point he's underrated as a wrestler. And Taiji has showed up in so many matches that I feel like you could have done better with these two guys. And yeah, this wasn't quite it for me, but Ren Narita did pick up the win. He's moving on to the next round where he's going to face Satoshi Kojima. Really, the best match on this show was El Phantasmo versus Bolin Oleg. Both of these guys coming out of showings on the New Japan US show. Bolin Oleg had his big debut in the US. El Phantasmo, of course, had his big match with Konosuke Takeshita. And so Phantasmo has a lot to prove coming out of this. He just lost his World Television Championship, and you can see the desperation in this match. He came in house on fire, targeting Bolin Oleg's legs throughout the match, and he looked great. Man, Oleg is just a beast, though, man. Like, just the way he stayed in this match. He hit LP with a big kamikaze at the end off the ropes. That's how he picked up the win. Bolin Oleg will be moving on to the next round to face Hinare. Cannot wait for that match. These two are just such a great matchup. They have good chemistry. Cannot wait for that. But yeah, great showing from both these guys. LP is just one of them guys, man. Like, I feel like people kind of have him fucked up sometimes, but he was fantastic here. Bolin Oleg continues to impress me, man. Like, this guy, they got something in him, man. On the 65th anniversary show that aired Friday morning, we got Yoshihashi versus Jake Lee. Yoshihashi is Yoshihashi. You're going to get like the comeback spots and stuff with him. I thought he worked well in this match with Jake Lee. Jake Lee's mannerisms and stuff just still is just not for me. There's a bunch of stuff he did in this match where I was just like, why'd you go in that direction with it? But it is what it is. I thought this worked for what it was, though. Jake Lee picked up the win over Yoshihashi. He's moving on to the next round where he's going to face Hiroki Goto. That should be an interesting matchup. If you can't get a good one out of Goto in this next round, might be a little spooky. I don't know.
Wrap them up if you can't get a good one out of Goto.
Yeah. I think, for sure we got to wrap it up. Really, sleeper in this tournament so far on the same card. Callum Newman versus Oscar. I can keep saying that because Yuto Ice is the more charismatic member of the Knockout Brothers. More people pay attention to him. But Oscar is fantastic. I think that he's kind of underrated at this point. He started this match with Callum Newman. Callum is coming in with a lot of edge. He's trying to attack Oscar as soon as the bell rang, and Oscar is just throwing around, throwing him into the crowd, throwing him through chairs and stuff. These guys are like beating on each other. Fantastic throughout. This wasn't a long match. It was maybe 11 minutes tops. But they got so much in here that these guys like were really beating the hell out of each other. I thought it made Oscar look good. It put over Callum big time as this guy that would do anything to win. At one point, Oscar had him in a sleeper hold towards the end of the match, and Callum visibly tapped, but the referee was knocked out, so he didn't see it. Oscar let him go, and Callum Newman hit him with the Excalibur on a chair, rolled him over, hit him with his second Excalibur. That's how he picked up the win. He's moving on to the second round as well to face Hartley Jackson.
Sick.
I think the last two first round matches we have left, Shota Umino versus Chase Owens. Then we have Yuto Ice versus Ryohei Oiwa. The winner of the Yuto Ice Ryohei match is going to face Zack Sabre Jr. And then the winner of Shota Umino versus Chase Owens will face Yujiro Takahashi. Then also for the 65th anniversary show, the semi-main event was the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match. The Ichiban Sweet Boys faced Robbie Eagles. Faced Robbie X, not Robbie Eagles, Robbie X and Taiji Ishimori. Very, very good match. Probably the best New Japan match out of these three shows. This was really, really good. I love that tag team wrestling has really come back in a big way with New Japan this year, both with the emergence of the Knockouts brothers. And I thought Ichiban Sweet Boys have had a strong run so far. Yeah, great match with Ishimori and Robbie X. Surprisingly, Ishimori and Robbie X picked up the win. They are the new junior tag team champions. Highly recommend this match if you have not seen it. And then the main event of the show for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, Master Wato took on Doki. Doki is still doing the House of Torture stuff. A lot of House of Torture shenanigans in this match. It led to Aaron Wolf getting involved to run Fale away at one point. You had Yo out there at one point. But, the crowd was into it. The crowd was very much behind Master Wato throughout this match. Every time Wato got a comeback spot going, the crowd was into it. They wanted this guy to win. And that tells you how successful this heel stuff Doki is doing. But some of it I'm not that into. I think the final stretch of the match was very good because you really believed that Wato could win. He set up his finisher a few times. Doki got out of it. Ultimately, Master Wato got hit with a low blow. And that's when Doki hit his finisher on him, picked up the win to retain. Doki is still champion. Afterwards, Yo came back out there and attacked him. Seems like Yo versus Doki is going to be the next big match for the junior title.
Yeah, it's just frustrating having House of Torture stuff over here too. You know what I mean? It's like the junior heavyweight stuff supposed to be off limits, but it's over here in this championship too. Just gets a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, definitely. It just feels like the junior heavyweight stuff is just kind of like stuck in the mud at this point. Like, so good. Stuff, but it just feels like people are ready to move, ready to crown, ready to some mud, doing some of the same matchups, and just not that interesting. Just ready for this division. We are wrestling in New Japan a little while ago. I feel like that's where we are with the junior debate now, where I'm just ready to do something different.
Let's do something else.
Let's go.
Is it? Hello?
Yeah.
You can hear me.
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know what that was. That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
But yeah, that was a week for New Japan. More New Japan Cup stuff coming up in March. We are building up to the New Japan Cup finals at the end of March, and then of course the G1 will start over the summer.
Yep, still upset, still having FOMO that y'all are getting one of these G1 shows. The booking post Wrestle Kingdom has been very interesting, and it's going to be funny to see what happens for the rest of the year, honestly.
Yeah, the booking of Aaron Wolf is so strange, man. I don't know what to make of it. And I get trying to do a thing where this guy's gotta earn his spot. You gotta put some adversity around him, but like, I don't know if this is the route to do that, bro. Like, continuing to keep him linked with House of Torture is such an odd choice, man.
I mean, House of Torture they represent a lot of heat in New Japan, and getting him close to that heat, I guess, means something. But like, it's just a rough terrain for him to start this out.
Very, very, very rough. Yeah. Last call for super chats. and Humper Chats, and then we're gonna get out of here. Appreciate you guys for sticking with us for 3 hours and some change. It's been a long podcast.
Yeah, we have a super chat from the homie Young Odo here who says, I just hope there's a plan for Chris Statlander going forward. It'd be a damn shame to have Double or Nothing in Long Island and she has nothing significant going into that stadium show.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be something for Chris Statlander coming for Double or Nothing. Excited about the 2 out of 3 falls match they have announced for Revolution. So far, the card for Revolution looks incredible.
Yeah, it does.
And giving the women a big stipulation match on that show, that's great. My gut feel is that Tekla's going to retain, but we'll see.
I do like the look that they had Chris Statlander in this week, kind of standing beside Thunder Rosa, looking like a cyborg or something, just ready to beat some ass. We're getting really intense about getting our championship back. I think that's a good story to tell. I also think Tekla's going to end up retaining, but I do like them changing the character a little bit and shifting Chris Statlander's motivation. She has to be involved. I'm sure she will. They can. There's still tag team division. There's still a lot of direction she could still be in leading into the show.
Yeah.
That's all of our super chats.
Appreciate you guys. I think we have 2 more Humper Chats. We got one from Rafael Garcia. He says, so how long before we get the news that Voodoo Kid, Mafia of Kip and he says, so how long before we get the news that Voodoo Kid Mafia of Kip and BG James taking up the book for TNA, LOL. In all seriousness, I've been thinking about the faction I've missed, and top of the list is Suzuki Gun. Who have I on too soon to you? I do miss Suzuki Gun. Gone too soon.
Gone too soon. Hurt Syndicate?
I mean, well, they'll be back. I think Bobby just was saying recently he's ready. He's ready to come back. He's healthy.
Bring him back.
Yeah. Probably, I still kind of say Mogul Embassy with Swerve and AR Fox. I think that got broken up too soon.
That's pretty high up there. I like that crew a lot. I still want them to get it back.
Yeah. I think of any other ones. Dax is saying the Pinnacle in the did kind of come and go. They didn't get to do much.
Yeah, they did not have enough time. The League of Legends, do they count?
Yeah, I think it's Mogul Embassy for me.
Is that what they were called? The League of Legends?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Jordan from Canada is saying in our chat, shout out to Conan. I heard he's in the hospital at the moment. Yeah, that stuff with Conan sounds horrible.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. He's supposedly in San Diego. There's like a leg amputation or something going on. Yeah, big shout outs to him. That sounds like he's been having a lot of health issues over the last couple of years.
Yeah, hopefully he's doing okay. Well wishes to him. That sounds awful. So yeah, hopefully he's okay. From Leron Ford, he says, how many women's tag teams are there in AEW? What teams would you like to see them bring in? The inspiration are fine, but I would like to see them add more teams that are strong in the ring workers if the mantra is still we're the best wrestle. I still think there's room for like Queen Aminata and Red Velvet as a tag team. I know that they did some stuff together on ROH. Would like to see them do some more of that on the main shows. Billy and Athena, of course, makes sense as a tag team.
That doesn't work there. That doesn't work there. They've used they've used Marty and Allison Kay, I think, separate, but like the Hex as a team, I think they're very strong if they're trying to bring in some outside teams.
Yeah. I'm still holding out hope for Shuri and Hikaru Shida at some point. I think that's a strong one.
Yep.
That's a good question, Dax. Dax is asking what happened to the Sea Stars. I don't know. I don't see them booked together.
I remember watching a show where they have like a breakup match, but I don't think they work as a tag team anymore. I haven't seen them booked together in a long time.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I mean, like I still see like Delmy still booked some places, but yeah, yeah, I haven't seen them booked together in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were a good tag team.
They were cool.
I don't know what's going on with the Renegade Twins. I don't know. They could be a part of the tag division. They got some options. I know people are like very like skeptical about like just throwing teams together, but I think when you see how effective like the Brawling Birds are so immediately, I think you can put two women together and it can work. I just think you gotta put like some real effort into it. You can't just put two women together and then just put them on TV. I think the reason the Brawling Birds are working is because they're already showing personality. You're treating them like a big deal. You're treating them like a credible threat. And so if you treat other women's tag teams the same way, then it's not going to be that hard to build up the division.
Especially when you put together, because the Brawling Birds feels like such an equals team. It's like both of these women kick ass. Both of these women deserve all these cool opportunities. It's like a fitting combination. And it's like, that doesn't always happen. So if you strike lightning in the bottle, you got to go for it. Put the belts on these women. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're not doing it anytime soon, by all in, you should be ready to run with the Brawling Birds for sure.
Absolutely.
But that is all of our Humper Chats. I will double check and make sure we did not miss any. But appreciate you guys.
Yep, that's all the supers too.
Still looking at the screen for me.
People be really mad at the inspiration.
I know you can do it. Blank screen. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, that is all of our Humper Chats. Did all of that loading just to show me nothing. Thanks a lot, Streamlabs. But we officially don't have any more Humper Chats. We don't have any more Super Chats. So this is where we bid you guys adieu. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. We will be back at our usual time slot next Saturday, probably previewing this Revolution card. Revolution is on Sunday, correct?
It's on Sunday. Yep. In Los Angeles.
Yeah, so we'll let you know. But we will be back at you next Saturday at noon Eastern. For now, this has been Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. It's Righteous Reg. We are out of here.
Peace.